15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Found out recently, goats conversating. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Turns out Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady have been talking a lot this offseason. That'd be according to Patrick Mahomes. Good morning, Pearl. How you doing?
I thought you were talking about Tom Brady and Sydney Sweeney, or Tom Brady and Kate Hudson, or Tom Brady. You know, he's been linked to every supermodel in the world. I assume that's where you're going.
Yeah, this dude is everywhere. He's at the opening of an envelope. But single life is really looking good, I guess, on Tom Brady. He's all over the world, literally.
Yeah, and he was caught at dinner with Sofia Vergara on Saturday night. I mean, come on, dude. So
well,
ghost conversation, but you're actually talking about football. Okay.
I was talking about sports. You know, how dare I on this show? Let's hear from Patrick Mahomes. Manny, I'm asking for sound right off the bat here. So cut to Patrick Mahomes was on the Up and Adams show with our pal Kay Adams, saying that he and Brady have talked a lot this offseason, and Mahomes welcomes all the advice.
I've actually talked to Tom a good amount this offseason, and it's cool that he wants to give me advice. You know, he didn't have to be like that. He's such a good dude, and I have so much respect for him, and I'll take any advice he gives me.
Okay, so obviously a very stark contrast in the last time we heard LeBron James talking to Pat McAfee about his relationship with Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
We're talking about GOATs here. Not exactly the same, where LeBron says that he does not have a relationship with Michael Jordan, and the reason why he thinks is because he's still playing. And that Jordan maybe is still so competitive that until LeBron retires and there's no more threat, I guess, to Jordan's legacy, now they'll be able to become friends maybe at the retirement home or on rocking chairs or where or a blackjack table is probably more likely for Jordan.
I could, and by the way, I could see that because Kobe followed that. Kobe became a lot closer to other players toward the end.
Right, would finally sort of give some of the secrets or didn't feel like everyone was a constant threat at all times.
Right.
So,
but it's clear, your point, Jordan is not there to help LeBron James in any way. In fact, to the point where, we'll get into it, he had a massively successful documentary just to counter the LeBron narrative.
Yeah, we needed 10 hours of Jordan to make sure that LeBron was put in his place. And so the question, because this is so different, obviously, from the Mahomes-Brady relationship, and I'm just going to assume that Brady's giving good advice. This is not some kind of counterintelligence thing where he's secretly trying to sabotage the guy. I think
became personal with me.
Yeah, I think he's actually giving Mahomes, like, sound advice. So here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Whether it be Mahomes or whether it be LeBron, who has a better shot of surpassing what we believe is the GOAT of the sport, the greatest of all time? Which successor? Is it Mahomes or is it LeBron who could actually take down Brady or Jordan, respectively?
So for me, this isn't just an argument about the individual players, but it's about the sports as well. It feels like GOAT is a lot less firm in football than basketball. In basketball, it's a very individual sport. Like the greatest player can carry a team to a title again and again, like LeBron and Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Football is such a team sport that I don't think that we view the GOAT the same way. So Joe Montana and Jerry Rice were co-GOATs for a while.
Sure.
And they got surpassed pretty quickly by the Patriots dynasty. I don't think Tom Brady's footing as a GOAT is nearly as secure as Michael Jordan's. So therefore, it's going to be not that hard, believe it or not, for Patrick Mahomes to surpass him.
Okay, but here's the difference, and this is why I think LeBron has a way better shot of surpassing Michael Jordan on that GOAT legacy debate or what have you than Mahomes does on Brady. I know we like to pretend like this fact doesn't exist, but it does. Tom Brady beat Patrick Mahomes. He beat him twice in the playoffs. Now, you could say that AFC Championship game, it went to overtime. Mahomes never got the ball. That's fine. But what happened in the Super Bowl? And I know it's a team game, but Brady's Tampa Bay Bucks waxed Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even close. This is like what happened with your Eagles and Patrick Mahomes.
Same game.
Devastating loss, right? That actually happened. And Brady played very well that season to the point where he probably could have had the MVP in 2020. They gave it to Aaron Rodgers, but Brady was right there. And so I just don't see how that doesn't factor into this. We never got LeBron versus Jordan. We never got the head-to-head. And I know that their ages would have obviously prevented this, but that has to count for a lot, in my opinion. So I think Brady is way sturdier. And the other thing, too, about football, 7 Super Bowls, guys, like, it's not happening. I mean, Mahomes would be the closest. I don't think he's going to get there. So I think Brady is way, way more solidified, if you will, because I think, A, people think it's harder to win a Super Bowl than an NBA title. Whether that's true or not, we can debate. It's harder to win the Super Bowl. So what Brady accomplished was tougher than what even Jordan accomplished. And so I think, to me, I think that's just going to keep Mahomes in second place solidly.
Yeah, it's a good point. But then again, I mean, listen, Brady lost a bunch of Super Bowls, and he easily passed Montana, who never lost a Super Bowl. So I think you can ignore Super Bowl losses. It's obviously, we know what happened in those Super Bowls. I'm telling you, we were just there in New Orleans when the offensive line just disappeared for Kansas City because they cheaped out on their O-line. Of course, Mahomes got chased around. And when I think of that Kansas City Tampa Bay Super Bowl, I think of Shaq Barrett just chasing Mahomes from the get-go the entire game. I don't think of Brady being dominant. Brady was there, but it wasn't really a big Brady game.
Yeah, but I also look at some of the finals that LeBron James lost where he could have gotten closer to Michael Jordan, and he could have been MVP of some of those finals even though they lost. Like But
in basketball, though, to be MVP, like one person should be able to lift the whole team.
Yeah, but is that really true when a Kevin Durant joins a 73-win Warriors team? Like, that was one of the great super teams of all time, that Golden State team, which kept LeBron from getting to 6.
Jordan would have beaten them.
Okay.
He definitely would have.
I know, but we're never going to know.
He would have shut down Curry and made that little guy cry.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. So today we're asking, because it looks like Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes have this really great relationship now. Who has the better shot of passing the GOAT of their sport? Does Mahomes have a better shot of passing Brady in everyone's eyes, or does LeBron have a better shot of passing Jordan?
I mean, one of those rings, the Patriots-Rams game, they won 13-3.
Yeah.
That's a team win. That's not the first 3 wins for Brady. Those were team wins. Those were not Michael Jordan style wins. I just think that, believe it or not, I think Brady's status as GOAT is just nothing like Michael Jordan's. Michael Jordan was also the spectacular athleticism. Brady doesn't have it. Mahomes has it to a degree, although he's decided to put that on the back burner. And now he's more of a system quarterback, which is hysterical.
Yeah.
But I think Mahomes is going to get closer to 6. I think he's got another. I mean, he seems to own the AFC. And he's only 29. Even if he has a little bit of a down phase like Brady, he could definitely have that second phase. I think you're underrating Mahomes a little bit here, too.
Because Mahomes is the way better athlete. I'll give you that.
But I think he's got a lot of Brady personality, too. I think that's what makes him so special. I think that's why him and Brady connect. He's like a mini Tom Brady leader as well.
Okay, well, here's something where I think that I'm going to go. Okay. So LeBron toppling Michael Jordan, I think, has already happened in some people's eyes. Right. And one of the reasons why LeBron, in some people's eyes, is thought of as better than Michael Jordan is the longevity debate. Whether you think that's fair or not, there are a lot of people who believe LeBron's taken better care of his body, better commitment to the sport, never took a break to go play baseball, was never in a casino until 5 o'clock in the morning before playoff games. Whether that matters or not, it's the longevity debate of how LeBron has continued to play at this high level for so long. Mahomes is not catching Brady when it comes to that.
Why not?
Right? I don't think anyone's catching Tom Brady. Nobody plays football in that brutal sport. It's so rare to play at that high of a level into your 40s. And I know we all want to assume that there's, this is going to happen now for Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and all these guys.
Wow, those guys are too mobile.
Well, Mahomes takes a lot of hits. Now, to his credit, he keeps playing, and he'll play hurt and all of that. I think that Brady is the longevity debate and the GOAT debate, whereas LeBron catches Jordan because of longevity.
I mean, listen. I'm giving Jordan the GOAT. That dude stayed up till 3 a.m. in the casino and went out and kicked the Utah Jazz's butt.
Yeah, that doesn't bode well for the Jazz.
That's a number one feather in his cap. Are you kidding me? The fact that Tom Brady had to take such good care of himself to beat the Rams 13-3. Jared Goff, no, and he lost to Eli twice. I mean, that's a ding. That's a ding.
Wow.
It's just football is so different. I think basketball lends itself to the GOAT debate, and the other thing too. LeBron is at the end. Where Mahomes is at the beginning. He's why can't quarterbacks play into their 40s? Why do you think I think Brady set the precedent and everyone's going to be emulating Tom Brady?
Or he's an outlier. And you can still play. Like we're going to watch Joe Flacco suit up for the Browns. You can play, but are you still winning Super Bowls at 43? Aaron Rodgers is trying to do this.
The league protects older quarterbacks now. That's why Brady was able to do this. The rules changed.
Yeah, but
the rules changed twice for Tom Brady. First of all, he started out,
true.
they said you couldn't touch a receiver, and then Tom Brady went out and threw 50 touchdowns. I think he is a product of his time a little bit. Now, the rules have changed in the NBA, too. Unfortunately, I think LeBron ran into Curry because the emphasis on the three-point game. Maybe LeBron wins a bunch more rings if the people didn't figure out the three-point shot.
Well, here's the thing about let me take your not touching quarterback situation and how the rules have changed in the NFL, and that could sue quarterbacks. You're right. It's still a collision sport, though. And so even if you say they can't, air quotes, touch them, these guys are still getting hit, even if they're getting 50-yard penalties maybe on top of it. Those hits are actually getting taken by them. And the league keeps adding games. I mean, by the time Mahomes is done playing, how many regular season games do you think the NFL is going to have? 20?
That's true.
They can't help themselves.
And think about how many backup quarterbacks we've seen in the last 2 years.
Oh, my God. It's a backup.
Yeah, but
how do we know Tyson Bagent? We shouldn't know these guys anymore.
I'm not going to wood really loud, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Mahomes has been durable.
No,
I know he's dealt
I'm
with
not
a
going
million injuries, but he always – listen, he was limping at halftime of the Eagles' Super Bowl in 2022 and came back and won that game. He's barely missed any games despite a number of minor injuries.
I understand this, but he's also going to be getting older. And
That trick is crazy.
And the other part is he's going to have changes are going to happen. Like Kelce is going to retire at some point. Andy Reid might retire also. So I'm curious what you guys think at 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. This is all off of Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Simpatico, very good friends we found out this offseason. They've been talking a lot. And it was very stark contrast to the fact that LeBron James told us that he and Michael Jordan have no relationship and that he thinks it's because he's still playing. And once he retires, then maybe he and Jordan could, finally become friends. Who has a better shot of surpassing the GOAT of their sport, LeBron over Jordan or Mahomes over Brady?
One thing about Mahomes came off a bad year. I think we could all agree on that.
15-2 made it to the Super Bowl.
No,
if that's a bad year.
That's the amazing thing about him. He had his worst statistical season by far. He was 15-1 as a starter. And we're like, what's wrong with Patrick Mahomes? That could
have been our problem. That could have been overblown.
Well, no, he was. I mean, his stats are modest. He was definitely winning conservatively, which I think is another reason that he's so great. He's like Brady. He will do whatever it takes to win. He's so kind of nice and goofy and weird, and that we don't look at him like Brady. He's got that Kermit the Frog voice. I think people don't understand Patrick Mahomes' mentality. I think he's a super killer. His style is so different from Brady, but I think they have a lot in common. I think they're co-goats. And I do think the same about LeBron and Jordan. Although, Kobe is closer mentality-wise to Jordan. Will you give me that?
Probably.
So, but I think Mahomes is secretly a lot like Brady. This is my theory here.
Yeah, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Let's do it. John's in Connecticut. John, go ahead. What do you think is more likely? Is it that LeBron will pass Jordan as the GOAT or Mahomes passes Brady? Johnny.
I don't think. Good morning. I don't think anybody passes Jordan. In the lexicon of sports, he's the guy. He became the guy before we talked about things like GOAT. And in retirement, these things tend to become even grander. As good as I think Brady is, and by the way, Maggie, you were right on. The year that he didn't win the MVP and they won the Super Bowl, threw for 5,000 yards and 40-some-odd touchdowns.
Yeah, his best seasons were the ones he technically didn't win, statistically.
Exactly. But I don't think anybody supplants Jordan just because when you think of GOAT, you immediately go to Jordan. He owns that space for right now.
Man, and you don't think Brady owns that space, though, John?
I do. But it's an entirely different game. You see Jordan. He's not wearing a helmet. He's out there. He's 1 of 5. His things that he does on the court everybody witnesses, how many people really understand the game of football to the degree where they know what Brady is doing? And by the way, in Brady's defense, virtually every year with that organization, their top guys never were re-signed. They always went elsewhere for the money. So this Brady did it with virtually half the time a new starting lineup in key positions year in and year out.
Yeah, John, interesting points. Thank you. I understand that maybe when you're watching football, it's a lot more complex. I mean, basketball can be pretty complex as well, but it's pretty complex. But I know this, drive for your life. You know, if you gave that sort of bar stool,
right.
You and I sitting there watching the game, and I said, drive for your life.
Tommy DeVito.
Well, I mean, I've seen
and Manny and R.I.P. Manny, because that was a good run by you.
But we've also seen Eli Manning and Nick Foles outdrive for your life Tom Brady. So nobody's going to outdrive Michael Jordan in 2 minutes.
No, I get that, but I'm just saying there is okay, if you want to take Nick Foles, take him. I'm still going to take Brady.
But that's the reality. Like, he's been beaten in that situation.
Yeah, but he also had 20-plus years where he was doing the beatdowns. You want to name...
Beatdowns? Not really. It's the Patriots. I mean, yeah, they had 1 year where they were awesome, and then they lost in the Super Bowl. They had beat down the Rams by hitting that last-second field goal.
I know, but it's not college football. These aren't spreads
you
that
said
are
beatdowns.
16 points. Well, winning in the Super Bowl, whether you win by 3 points or whether you win by 15, 20, it doesn't matter to me.
I was reading a little book this weekend called The Art of Winning by Bill Belichick. Have you heard of it?
There's no shot you were winning that.
I read it. I read it this weekend. Yeah.
Is it good?
It is not good. It is in Bill Belichick's voice. Wow. It is the most boring. You know how you don't like Belichick in the interview? That's this in book form, so I give him credit. But he said the key to the dynasty was when they ran out as a team in the Super Bowl. They are a team. Like, that is everyone do your job.
Coach speak. Oh.
And I got to tell you, Brady bought right in, and Brady was the key to that. He was
going to read the MRI.
Yeah,
okay.
I think
so
Brady and Belichick. So the team aspect of football, I think that makes the GOAT debate a little different for this sport.
Okay, well, let's go to coaches then, because I think that you would say that kind of like, yes, Brady had Belichick, Patrick Mahomes passing Belichick when a lot of people are passing Brady when a lot of people think he and Andy Reid together are the secret sauce. LeBron, nobody attaches him to a coach.
Well, I agree with that, but
he's done more without the guidance that Michael Jordan had from Phil Jackson. This helps the LeBronites like me in passing MJ.
I don't think coaches impact NBA like that. The NFL, they
then how come
call
Kobe couldn't win again until Phil Jackson came back to LA?
I don't think. First of all, do people consider Phil Jackson the GOAT of coaches?
He's got 11
Some
rings.
people do, but it's not like
he's got a lot of them.
It's not.
Most
But he
do.
had Jordan and Kobe is what they also say. Like, the guy found the superstar.
So who do people think it is? Pat Riley, because he was playing with a bunch of plumbers and firemen. He had Magic and Kareem.
Red Auerbach, his Pat Riley,
he had Bill Russell.
Whole starting lineup was Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
No, I know, but I don't think people universally think Phil Jackson is as good as Bill Belichick was.
I think he'd be ranked number one on any poll if you did like greatest coaches.
Oh,
let's do the poll head to head.
Yeah.
Put a better coach, Phil Jackson or Bill Belichick.
Oh, I mean, I think Belichick crushes this poll.
Okay, well then that also
I think that's my opinion, but
that would also play into my debate then. The people think that the Super Bowls are harder to win, and therefore Brady's more solidified as his GOAT than Mahomes is passing him.
I think you guys will disagree. I think there is a thought that an NBA coach just rolls the ball out and then the superstars take over. Because at the end, it's such a creative game that you can't coach it to the point of really dominating by coaching or scheme. You know, Steve Kerr has been a huge part of this, but he doesn't get all the credit for it. It's like I just think that basketball coaches can't do as much. Football coaches are really the puppet masters of this game. I think, again, that's why I get back to it's not even about Brady and Jordan and LeBron and Mahomes. It's about the two sports. The GOAT in basketball will always be a more solidified GOAT, whoever you choose.
All right, let's do it. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Laid a lot out there for you, but the question is this. We know that Brady and Patrick Mahomes have been talking a lot this offseason. They've got a good relationship. Brady sharing some of his secret sauce or advice with Patrick Mahomes. Very different than Michael Jordan and LeBron James's relationship, where Jordan is not interested, according to LeBron, about being friends right now. So, who has a better shot of passing the GOAT in their sport? LeBron passing Jordan or Mahomes passing Tom Brady? 888-710-4ISN. Let us know what we miss. Maggie Perloff.
That trick is crazy.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie Perloff Show. A lot of questions out there today, starting with who's more likely to catch the GOAT, Patrick Mahomes with Tom Brady or LeBron James with Michael Jordan? Of course, you can weigh in Also, we had the debate last segment, who's the better coach, Phil Jackson or Bill Belichick? There's a comment on this X post that we had where it says Belichick is more like Popovich. Phil's resume is on a whole different level. I think that was a pro Phil, but that's absolutely right. Popovich is in many ways considered a better coach in some people's mind. I think that Phil Jackson, like Popovich is a coach's coach. Like he gets in there and like is doing less with more. Phil is a superstar coach who's putting books in lockers and getting the vibe right.
Wait a minute, he's doing more with less. Tim Duncan, David Robinson is more with less. These guys are two all-time amazing players.
Popovich is just more of a coachy coach, where Phil Jackson is more of a superstar coach.
Okay, no.
Popovich is definitely a better basketball coach than Phil Jackson.
Okay, well, you can have that opinion, and that's a valid one, but not for the reasons that you're saying it. Well, because if Tim Duncan just had better branding, if he was the Black Mamba and not Kobe, maybe you would think that that's a personality thing. You're saying that there is a superstar aspect because Phil Jackson coached the two of the most visible faces of the league.
Right,
Tim Duncan is just as talented, is higher on lists than Kobe Bryant.
I just think there's something in Pop, and maybe it's because they're both surly. Pop is way closer to Belichick. I feel like they're probably friends. Whereas Phil Jackson's a different animal.
There was always a twinkle in Pop's eye, though. I don't know if there is with Belichick. I don't know if there's like a...
Oh, God. Dude, he is the grumpiest. I know he's a super lib, but he is a grumpy human being. Greg Popovich.
See, I think it's the fact that maybe Michael Jordan and Kobe played above the rim a little more spectacular than the big fundamental, literally, of Tim Duncan, that somehow that makes Phil Jackson just some glamour coach, whereas Popovich is in there with the trenches. He had superstars.
No, he would. He made them superstars, probably, where Phil Jackson just showed up in L.A.
You think David Robinson needed help becoming a superstar?
Number one pick in the draft.
Yeah, these
When
guys
did David Robinson win before Pop?
MVPs?
Yeah, but did he win? Like those teams
talent,
had no threat in the playoffs.
No, but to EJ's point, he had talented teams. That's the thing. You're not going to find...
Robinson was ancient by the time he won a title, by the way.
No, but the thing about the coaching, like if you really want to get down to it, and by the way, you can go vote at Maggie and Pearl on who is the better coach, Phil Jackson or Bill Belichick. But I think all the great coaches had great players. We know that.
Right.
So if you really want to ask, like, who's the greatest coach of all time, it's probably some D3, fencing coach or something.
Respect to the D3 athletes, please.
I am. I'm just saying that I'm respecting the D3 coaches too. Or like some junior college. Who's the guy who's had the Netflix series Last Chance U?
Coach Brown, Coach Buddy Holly. No, not Buddy Holly. Buddy Stevens. Buddy Stevens was the EMCC coach.
Yeah, someone like that maybe, because they're really doing more with less.
Yeah, I just think Pop is a little more Belichick-y, where like Phil Jackson they're totally different coaches. Phil Jackson was more about personalities, right? I know he had the Tex Winter triangle offense, but Phil Jackson was not a get in there and strategize X's and O's. Is that how you guys think of Phil Jackson?
Yes.
I think of him putting books in the locker. That's like the imprint of Phil Jackson.
He does that, and also the triangle, which he didn't invent.
He didn't even coach. Like he had his assistants do that.
I think disrespecting Phil Jackson. Zach's in Milwaukee. Zach, what do you think? Will LeBron James be able to pass Michael Jordan, or will Patrick Mahomes be able to pass Tom Brady?
Hey, good morning, everybody. I actually have a question about the NFL, and I don't hear a lot of consideration for the value in MVP. If a player's talent and skill isn't matched with their salary, does that give the team more options to build around them? And then you mentioned Brady's wins being team wins. Is his value higher in years where he took a pay cut?
Is his value higher? Sure. Yeah, technically, I guess, because he took a pay cut, so he allowed the Patriots to spend more on other guys.
Right, but you don't hear about that discussion when MVP votes are counted.
So you think Brady should have been in consideration for more MVPs because he took less money than Peyton Manning or Eli Manning or something like that?
Well, and conversely, if the payroll goes to more players, is his contribution a lesser percentage on the skill end? Like Aaron Rodgers was paid a lot, and I think that hurt the Packers being able to put a stronger team around him.
Sure. But I guess, it's funny because who else was Belichick really spending that money on?
Spreading it out.
Spreading it out, but it's not like because, I think Brady's most famous teammate, maybe outside of Gronkowski because they were together for so long, was probably Randy Moss. And it's not like Randy was breaking the bank there.
No.
They rejuvenated Randy's
But
career.
we know what Zach's talking about because LeBron is taking the $52.5 million and kind of handcuffing the Lakers roster. So this is definitely part of something. I mean, there's something there. I hear you.
Zach, thank you for the call. Scott's in California. Hey, Scott, what do you think about this debate? Do you think that Mahomes will pass Brady or LeBron will pass Jordan?
I think Jordan, to me, I grew up in that era, so he's the best. He's the GOAT of all time. But I'm more interested in the Brady and Mahomes thing. First of all, if I'm a Raider fan, which I'm not, why is my owner talking to a rival quarterback? I'd be really upset about that. Yeah.
That's a good point.
That's a fair point. He is a minority owner. We know that he was involved in the draft. Kansas City and the Raiders have a blood feud that goes back generations. It's a fair point.
But your owner is also the color commentator for Fox. I mean, he's got to be neutral anyway.
Exactly, too.
He's not your owner. He's a 5% owner. So it's a little different, right?
No, because he is having input on quarterback decisions, we know, with the Raiders. So he's very familiar with the goings-on. Yeah, where's Brady's
But he's got to be neutral when he calls the games. Does that bother you too, Scott?
Other not so much. I think he's gotten better as the year went on last year, and is he makes valid points, and he's a good analyst. But I also want to comment too about Mahomes. Though his 2 losses in Super Bowls already have been pretty bad. And as a Niners fan, we were up twice, with 10 points in the fourth quarter. So to me, it's 1A is Brady, and 1B will always be Montana. He never threw an interception in the Super Bowl, never lost the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And Mahomes, his stats in the Super Bowl aren't that good. And that's all I have to say.
Scott, thank you for that. Yeah, maybe a little bit, a tiny bit of feeling a little bitter about losing in overtime and losing 2 fourth-quarter leads to Patrick Mahomes. If you're a San Francisco fan, I totally get that. But he brings up the great point about the rivalry because you know what it made me think of? Like Brady's now working for the Raiders and Fox, but definitely working for the Raiders, and now giving all this great advice to Patrick Mahomes, who's a division rival.
Well, he's got to be, but as a Fox hitter, he's got to be neutral to all 32 teams by definition.
No, but when he's having a phone conversation with Patrick Mahomes, he doesn't have to be neutral. Who's monitoring that? Roger Goodell? No way.
It's like saying, they're not in the same. The Raiders and the Chiefs aren't even comparable at this point. Like he's talking to Patrick Mahomes about how to handle being the greatest ever. He's not trying to get Geno Smith to a wild card game.
No, but if you're a Raider fan, you're like, wait, they need more help. They've been kicking our ass for years.
I don't think Brady's giving help for this season. Sorry, go ahead. EJ.
I said this to Manny, just in the back here. I was like, why is he talking to Patrick Mahomes? You run the Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, bro.
Yeah.
What do you like? That to me was inexcusable. Like, imagine if somebody like Joe Namath was like, yeah, I'm talking to Josh Allen and trying to make sure he can get this first Super Bowl like I did. Like, we'd be like, what are you doing?
Well,
this is the team we're trying to catch.
So in real life, this actually did happen because I interviewed him about it and he admitted it. Hakeem Olajuwon, remember, had a big man camp that he had in Houston, and guys would come down all over the league and he would coach them.
The dream.
And the Rockets asked him to stop. He had Carmelo and LeBron and all these guys in their prime were coming to train at the field at the foot of Hakeem Olajuwon, and the Rockets were like, "Stop, please!
What about
you're helping our opponents?"
What about Travis Kelce helping all the tight ends? I mean, he's still playing, and nobody cares about that.
Well, that's like that a camp for
there's all
kids?
these videos of Travis Kelce saying, this is the key. This is how I get off the linebacker. And it's very specific. And every linebacker was like, whoa, that's how you do it. Nobody cares about that. I think that there's a tradition of older players helping younger players across teams. I mean, you don't think Peyton and Tom helped guys throughout the years? Sure they did.
You really think that you would take an Eagles legend helping out Dak Prescott?
Or what if Lane Johnson went to go talk to the Cowboys offensive line to go give him pointers?
Jason Kelce's helping, the center of the Dallas Cowboys. You don't think Philadelphia would lose their mind? You know they would.
I get you, but like that's an up-and-coming player. Patrick Mahomes already has 3 Super Bowls. Like he's not giving logistics of how to win more things. I'm sure he's like, how do you handle this level of stardom? Like, what do you think they're talking about? Like, this is how you beat my defense?
No,
like,
I think they're actually talking. I think they're talking that and X's and O's. I do, because I think Mahomes has shown he can handle the pressure of stardom. Like he's handled it beautifully. Like there's nothing about Mahomes.
How would this X's and O's conversation go with Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes? He's saying that, well, I think on your 5th step here that you should be pivoting to the left. That's not their conversation. They're like, what's it like to sort of carry a sport on your shoulders? And I think it's that's a conversation. How do you keep motivated through the years? Like, how do you keep everybody around you motivated?
Right,
like,
even still, it's tips, it's pointers.
I mean, that, first of all, we're saying the Raiders versus the Chiefs. That's like Manny competing with Tom Brady for Sofia Vergara. Like, this is
we both speak Spanish.
Like, would you have a problem if Tom Brady and Manny are both single? Would you have a problem if Tom Brady called and gave pointers to Manny, even though they're supposedly competing for the same women? Come on.
We are.
The Raiders are in a
What
different
would you-
timeline. They're not competing with Patrick Mahomes for another ring.
I think that timeline's different now with Pete Carroll and Geno Smith. But Manny, what would be your opening line? Well, first of all, Sofia Vergara, I don't know, say could be your mom.
And?
Ooh.
Okay.
Manly, yeah.
All right, the show just took a turn. Everyone got real perked up on that one. What would your opening line be to Sofia Vergara in Spanish?
Hola.
Well done.
Bogusch is here. Bogusch, can
thanks.
you top that?
No. Headlines are sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting your business vehicles 24/7. See if you can save at progressivecommercial.com.
And Manny's going to cruise.
Padres third baseman Manny Machado in a very exclusive club this morning.
Machado on the verge of history, the 0-1. Hard hit grounder left side off the glove of the diving Perdomo into left, and number 2,000 for Manny Machado in his major league career.
Jesse
That's
Agler
what's in.
on Padres radio. Machado had already surpassed 350 career homers, so now he is just the 17th player with that many homers and 2,000 hits by the age of 33. There's not a bad name in this group, including Gehrig, Fox, Mays, Mantle, Aaron, and Griffey Jr.
Oh.
The accomplishment not lost on Machado.
To get one hit in the big leagues, it's very extremely hard, and let alone you look up there and you got 2,000 of them. I mean, that right there, you kind of just, kind of notice how special it is.
The only bad news, the Padres lost this game 6-3 to Arizona.
Can I ask a question about Machado real quick? Sure. Why is he maybe underrated, or why is he not appreciated in those names? I feel like
Because he's got a reputation of loafing. Which
is
I
it
think,
just the loafing or the money?
I mean, the money is the money.
And the winning. I mean, the fact that he hasn't been able to get the Padres over the top.
I feel like Machado's been known as a great leader with the Padres since he's got there.
Since he has, but that stuff with the Dodgers where he was when he got traded from Baltimore, I think that in the playoffs where he was, I think that's probably it, because and the lack of World Series.
Okay. I'm just curious because like those are big names, but I feel like people don't love Manny Machado.
I mean, I was watching Sunday Night Baseball, and they were like, this guy is walking into Cooperstown. And I was like, huh.
Yeah, he definitely is.
He definitely is. But to Perloff's point, we don't talk about him like he is.
Like he's
we talk about Tatis way differently, for example.
Well, yeah, and Manny was a phenom too, but he so I was looking back to when he hit 1,000. His 1,000 hit came in 2018. So, I mean, I'm assuming he's going to play for 7 more years. Gets to 3,000.
How much longer is that contract? He's got a nice contract.
Yeah, I mean, but he'll play till he's
I think he gets
42, probably.
I think he gets to 3,000.
I think he does also.
I think his style is a bit boring too. I'm sorry, and in the sense that like Tatis has so much flair in his game, where I don't know, Manny Machado reminds me a little A-Rod, just like solid home run.
Manny Machado's glove is pretty damn good. He throws from deep third base, sometimes in the foul territory. He's pretty good with the glove.
But when Fernando
and with the
Tatis
arm.
is up, like everybody's like, whoa, you have to watch that guy. I don't know. I feel like there's different about Machado. Maybe I'm totally wrong.
I don't know. I feel like Fernando Tatis on defense leaves much more to be desired, while Manny Machado at third base is a gold glover, and he can mash 25, 30 home runs too.
I'm a fan. I don't care if a guy can field. I don't care about defense.
An exciting defender is.
Yeah, but is Manny Machado so exciting on defense? You have to tune in. Really?
Hey, you watch some Yankee baseball, you'll be asking for some defense, man.
I hear you, but I'm just saying popularity-wise, it's not like, oh, my God, Ken Griffey Jr. was the greatest center fielder ever, arguably. People did not care. They just want to see him hit a 500.
Him robbing home runs.
But the home
big
runs
part
is
of
why
his
Ken
thing.
Griffey Jr. is Ken Griffey Jr.
No, he's Griffey because he was running up fences.
Yeah, that's a big part of it, too.
100%.
Yeah.
You don't think it's a massive bombs to right field?
There's one you're wrong on. That's about Griffey running balls down in center field. The first clip you play of him is him making a catch and going up the fence in center field at Yankee Stadium. And robbing
that's
home
not me.
runs.
It's when he hit 3 home runs the first 3 at-bats of a season once. The guy was a masher. The home run derbies and stuff like that.
No, but I get it, but Griffey is defense. You
Go to
can't-
the poll machine here.
Do not dismiss the defense.
I just think they're both. I think that he's obviously a great home run hitter, but I don't think it's an accident that in Little Big League it ends with Griffey robbing a home run.
Yeah.
Like, that's definitely part of his signature.
And again, you said you dismissed the defense. Like I don't think that's true at all. For him.
Yes, I mean he was a spectacular, but no, I think it's the home runs. If he was just that fielder, he would not have been the same guy.
Bonds in his heyday when he was not old and roided up was a great defender, but he was always about home runs. Like no one talked about Bonds' defense like that. Like I think maybe that's a better comparison. Bonds when he was great was a 5-tool player, but it was still always about the offense. Griffey, the fielding was ridiculous.
We got a Tyrese Halliburton update yesterday from Pacers president Kevin Pritchard.
No doubt that he will be back better than ever. The surgery went well. It was a little higher. It gets a little bit more blood to that. He will not play next year, though. We would not jeopardize that now. So don't get any hopes up that he will play. But again, we'll have some guys, and hopefully they'll have some opportunities to grow. When he gets back, that'll be cherry on top, I guess.
Now, Halliburton has said he would play Game 7 again if he had the chance, despite the torn Achilles. Pritchard says he wouldn't have put Halliburton back out there if he knew what was coming.
Well, yeah.
I hope
I know.
so.
I mean,
By the
you
way,
can't really say that.
a couple things. So Kyrie Irving also said, don't hold your breath on me coming back next year. I think guys are doing this to try to set themselves up so it's not a question all the time. When are you coming back? When are you coming back? It's a smart thing to do. I bet we see them both.
Also, he can't say that because before Game 5, like, Shams Charania is like, oh, they know the risk. Like, he was saying before the game, like, yeah, they know the risk with Halliburton is he could tear his Achilles like Kevin Durant. That was said on ESPN. Him coming out now saying, oh, if I would have known the risk, I wouldn't have put him out there. BS. Yeah. You did know the risk, and you put him out there.
I know, but there was no shot that he wasn't.
Yeah. That's fine, but don't say that if I knew what was going to happen, you did know what could have happened. Like, that's not true.
That's for the Pacer fans to take up with him.
Hey, have at it, Oz.
Well, I mean, I do think there was a risk. There was also a chance that he wouldn't get hurt. He did last till Game 7, so maybe Carlisle was taking that risk, and Maggie's right. Halliburton was not going to sit.
Yeah.
Like you would have had to hold him back physically to not get him on that court.
Game 7 of the finals.
Yeah, right. What are you going to do?
I understand what you're saying, EJ, but like nobody's killing Carlisle. He had no choice, right? I mean, historically, if he had sat him, that would have been crazy. I mean, there's no way that was happening.
I
get crushed
agree.
if they sit Halliburton for Game 7.
I think so too.
Everybody gets crushed.
I have no problem them playing him, but to say I would not have done it when Shams Charania is saying on national television, everyone's very clear about the risk. I couldn't believe when he said Kevin Durant. When he said that on national TV, I was like, whoa, are they really going to do this?
You know what I think it is? Probably seeing him in pain. You think, all right, seeing the guy writhing down the court as a human being, you're like, man, if I had known that it would have been like causing someone this kind of discomfort, maybe that's trying to be the human thing. I don't know.
You know Charania, huh, EJ?
Huh?
Shams Charania?
Charania?
Charania.
Right. Sorry, Shams.
Something tells me he's going to be okay. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Probably been called worse. Okay, question out there for you, Bogusch, thank you. Who has a better shot of surpassing the GOAT of their sport? Is it LeBron over Michael Jordan, or is it Mahomes over Tom Brady? You can weigh in on that. Also, poll question for you off of that. Side topic, who is a better coach, Bill Belichick or Phil Jackson? Again, 888-710-4ISN.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Got a couple questions out there for you today. So good morning. Who has a better chance of passing the GOAT of their sport, Would that be LeBron passing Michael Jordan in your eyes, or Patrick Mahomes passing Tom Brady? And we're asking this because we found out recently when Mahomes did an interview with Kay Adams that he and Brady are talking very frequently, and Brady's kind of sharing a lot of advice, and Mahomes is soaking it up. And very different from the relationship that Michael Jordan and LeBron James have, which is a little more frosty because apparently, according to LeBron, Jordan doesn't really want to be friends.
Yeah, I understand. There was a caller who said, like, how can the Raiders' partial owner be doing this? I think Brady and Mahomes' conversations are on such a different level. We're not just talking about carrying a team. We're talking about carrying the shield and what's it like to be this is the kind of conversation two GOATs can have. I'm sorry, you can't have that conversation with Geno Smith. I like Geno Smith, but I think what Brady's doing is not anti-competitive.
Well, you don't know. You're not there for the conversations. I mean, it could be a lot of, hey, when it was a big playoff game against Peyton Manning, this is what Bill Belichick did, and maybe Patrick Mahomes does that against Josh Allen, or does that, or maybe uses it against the Raiders. If I'm a Raider fan, I am probably a little chapped by this because on one hand, Brady is involved. Like, he's involved in the quarterback situations.
Definitely.
He didn't want Sam Darnold. Remember, that was like the thing that came out from Mike Silver, right? That he was the one who said no thank you to Darnold. Geno then became the pick. So he's making decisions for the Raiders. Now he's talking to a division rival, intimate conversations.
But I got to imagine those conversations. I think you and I do not see the same way. I think he's like, how do you balance work life? Like, how do you spend time with your kids when you're watching film? I think they're talking about
Mahomes
different.
has that figured out. He's in 3 Super Bowls already.
I think it's hard to be in the prime of your career. Like, I bet you there are a lot of challenges Patrick Mahomes faces that we don't know about that only Tom Brady understands. I don't think he's saying when the cornerback is angled this way and the defensive, I don't think he's doing little footballs, X's and O's. Besides, Patrick Mahomes is 10 years in.
What if he's telling him about how to treat his body? You don't think that would?
That's I mean, come on.
You don't think that would?
That bothers you?
If I'm a Raider fan, I don't want to deal with this guy for 15
but...
years. Yeah, he's in our division.
I think that's in bounds. I think that's fine.
We found out recently, I'm sorry to interrupt you, that Patrick Mahomes' nickname was Fatrick Mahomes. Which none of us had ever heard of before, but it's just funny.
So why do you have a problem with Kittle and Kelce taking all these tight ends under their arm? I think that's great.
Patrick is crazy. I don't have no, because I think that's different when you're a current player and you're taking, it's not one guy, you're taking a group of guys. Like, it's not like, oh, Kelce's like, let me sit down and talk to, I don't know, the Raiders tight end and show Brock Bowers how it works. No, they run a camp and then multiple guys run together. If Brady was running a QB camp and Mahomes showed up, that's one thing. To be like, oh, I'm having intimate, long conversations about how to be a better pro when it comes to Mahomes and Brady, that absolutely would.
I think that happens all the time. I think, like, especially wide receivers help the other young wide receivers. There's a lot of affiliates with agents and coaches and college teams. I think that happens way more than you might think.
Again, that's fine, but Brady is also running the Raiders or helping to run the Raiders. That's what changes the calculus. If a wide receiver, if Jerry Rice wants to, pull Justin Jefferson aside, nobody's going to care because Jerry Rice isn't helping to run the Packers.
Right, but if George Kittle tells Trey McBride how to shed a blocker, like, that's much directly impactful. They're in the same division. Like, nobody has a problem with that, do they?
Well, no one's saying that's happening, right?
Well, no, that's definitely happening.
That one-to-one conversation. We're talking about that, and also this side conversation of who was the better coach, Bill Belichick or Phil Jackson. Brad's in Sacramento. Brad, what do you think? What's the answer to that question?
I wanted to chime in on saying that I think Belichick's better because Jackson, a lot of his credit should go to the assistant coach Tex who designed that offense.
Right.
I mean, I know the coaches have to manage the egos and everything, but I go with Belichick.
Yeah, and Tex Winter, thank you, Brad, gets obviously the credit for the triangle offense. But I think to say that Phil Jackson merely showed up in a suit to the games, if it was that easy, then Doug Collins would have won the championships with Michael Jordan.
Jordan was younger. I think Jordan would have won with Doug Collins, personally.
Well, the powers that be, Jerry Krause, whatever, thought that wasn't the case. So, if it had just been a matter of when and not if, why make a change at all? Why feel like you needed the Zen master, right?
I mean, listen, Magic won with Westhead, and then it was like these superstars sometimes want a different guy. It just happens. It doesn't mean that Doug Collins wasn't going to win with Jordan eventually.
Yeah,
you don't think he would have? I definitely think he would have.
Well, I think a lot of people thought LeBron could also win with any coach. Like, I think the right coach does matter. Absolutely.
Not with LeBron. I mean, come on. Which one? Frank Vogel was the right coach?
888-710-4ISN. Coming up later in the show, Christine Brennan's going to join us to talk about her new book about Caitlin Clark. And we've got the most improved NFL team this offseason.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Who has had the best offseason in the NFL? Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Football's going to be back before we know it, Pearl, so let's get in front of this. We'll get back to our GOAT debates in just a little bit. Who has a better shot of passing the GOAT in their sport? LeBron passing Michael Jordan or Patrick Mahomes passing Tom Brady in a legacy debate? Put that to the side for a second. And who do you think has had the best NFL offseason?
I want to go second here because I read this question, not necessarily who had the best offseason, but who is going to be the most improved team. Is it the same question or is it a different question? Because I have a team that I think is going to make a major jump up because of what they did this offseason. But I want you to go first because mine is way off the board.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that I didn't have to fight you for mine as far as most improved NFL offseason because you've been way higher on their coaching situation than I have been. But I'm going to have to give it to the Chicago Bears. I think this has been a very good offseason for them. First of all, I was saying they should have gotten rid of Eberflus before Caleb Williams even got into the building. But if, they weren't ready to make that change yet, then fine. You wasted 1 year of Caleb Williams, but now you're going to have Ben Johnson in there, and I do think it's going to be much better. I was also looking at some, digging around on some PFF rankings, if you guys are into that nerdy stuff. Do you know, because I'm not going to be able to tell this with my naked eye, and I'm totally comfortable saying that the Bears have rated one of the best offensive lines in the entire NFL? I was surprised too. EJ, you just made a face. I was surprised also. That's going to bode well for Caleb Williams if PFF is right, Pro Football Focus, on those projections. And I know it's going to be a really difficult division, Pearl, but if you're asking me who is the most improved team from where we saw last year to the product that we're going to see on the field this upcoming season, I'm going to give it to the Chicago Bears. Bears are back.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. They were kind of all there. They were there for a little bit last year. And then they let up that Hail Mary, and then they disappeared.
I mean, you can't lose worse than some of the games that they lost last year. That Thanksgiving game I've never advocated for someone to get fired on a holiday except for Pat Eberflus. Get your family together, pack up your turkey, and get out.
I have a question, though. Do you think they'll make the playoffs?
I do. I am going to have the Bears making the playoffs this
year.
So
who are you knocking out in the NFC
North? The Vikings.
North? And so you're going to go, but you can't have three teams again back-to-back years. That'd be amazing. I don't know if that's ever happened. So we're going to knock out the Packers too, or you're going to have Bears, Packers, Lions all making it?
Yes, I have that.
Wow.
We'll do that a little bit later on in the offseason.
That's going to be a crunch schedule-wise. I'd like to see you pull that off. But okay, I'm going to even lower than the Bears.
Okay.
I'm going to the worst team in the NFL last year, according to the draft order. I think the Tennessee Titans are going to be this year's Washington Commanders.
Whoa, all the way to the championship game?
No. I think challenge for 8, 9, or 10 wins. I think Cam Ward is about to become the new superstar in the NFL. He reminds me so much of Jaden Daniels coming in last year that I think Jaden Daniels, people didn't totally understand how good he was. I think Cam Ward is misunderstood because Miami's team let everyone down at the end. Is that fair to say, EJ, lifelong Miami fan?
Miami's defense let everybody down.
Yeah.
Cam Ward was a saint.
But
wow,
Jaden Daniels. I think Cam Ward.
Daniels won the Heisman.
Cam Ward was the number one overall pick, but nobody cared because everyone was talking about Shador. I think Cam Ward is so similar to Jaden Daniels. I think he's an older quarterback who came into his own throughout a journeyman career in college, and he's going to be ready to go. But what I like the Titans did, that they just went bananas shoring up the offensive line. So they got Dan Moore Jr. to play left tackle so they can move J.C. Latham over. They have guys coming back from injury on the O-line. Their O-line has been the entire problem, which is so funny because they have Callahan coaching them, who's an O-line master. But so their line now is Dan Moore Jr., a veteran at left tackle, Peter Skoronski, who was, according to your PFF grades, one of the most improved offensive linemen in the year last year, former number 10 overall pick. Lloyd Cushenberry coming off injury, Kevin Zeitler, veteran, and J.C. Latham. So they've loaded up their offensive line, and they have a lot of veterans on defense, kind of like Washington. They remind me a little bit of Washington. Are they going to be that good? No, I don't think the NFC title game, but even I think Washington was surprised they made the NFC title game last year.
Well,
I just think they are a similar formula. My big question is to coaching staff. Are they up to it? But I think we're going to see a surprising run to middle of the pack from the Titans. Is Brian Callahan good enough to do that? I don't know that. But I think they're going to go from 3 wins to 8 or 9 wins. So that would probably be the most improved team.
Okay, and they are making the playoffs, or they are not?
They are not making the playoffs,
Okay.
but to go from number 1 pick to 8 wins would be wildly exciting.
Not to make this an O-line conversation. Granted, I started this with the PFF rankings. Would you like to know where PFF has the Tennessee Titans ranked? Their O-line.
Well, I know they were 30. PFF hates the Titans.
24th.
Yeah, they were 30.
The Bears are 4th.
31st. Yeah, I know, but
I'm just saying.
Yeah. I totally understand what you're saying, but the PFF, it's PFF.
Well, all they do is just push each other around, Maggie.
I know. Well, somebody said that once. Okay, I mean, I'll give that to you with the Titans, but can I ask you a question? Even though they are the worst team and they got Cam Ward with the number 1 pick, should you have to set the bar at playoffs considering the division that they're in? Like, I know Houston is really good. We're not sure what's going to happen with Jacksonville. Indy looks like a mess. I mean, what's going on with the quarterback situation?
Indy's going to win 8 or 9 games because they always win 8 or 9 games. A mess. Like, they have Gardner Minshew, Carson Wentz. It doesn't matter. Put them in there. Phillip Rivers. They always. What's going to happen to Indy? Indy's got talent all over the place.
Well, maybe, but they're choosing between Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones.
And Anthony Richardson is been 500 or above his whole career.
He's hurt.
Yeah.
He can't stay healthy, and neither can Jones.
No, I think all those teams are looking. I think the Texans are elite, and then those other teams are probably in the 7 to 10. Yeah, I think there's mediocre. But if they went from 3 wins to 8 wins, wouldn't that be one of the big stories of the year?
It would be extremely impressive.
In fact, even more so, I think the Bears, everyone thinks the Bears are going to be good.
Well, just because they may be a little bit of a darling pick because they also have the number 1 pick at quarterback just from 2 years ago. But the Bears will also find the banana peel. I mean, this has been a franchise that has never been known for quarterback play. No disrespect, Jim McMahon. And they have been embarrassing on top of it. The Titans are able to toil a little bit more in obscurity with their sometimes embarrassing moves.
Definitely. Oh, 100%.
But the Bears, it's always right front and center. And so I think it's a tougher media market. I think it's a tougher expectations market. And I have friends who are Titans fans. Like good rivalry there with Buffalo over the years, sneaky good rivalry. But no, they're able to toil a little more and work on things. The Bears, it's always front and center, all their failures.
Well, there's two similar. They were both able to build a roster around a quarterback on a rookie deal. So the Bears pumped as much money as humanly possible into their O-line. Titans quietly did the same thing. But the Titans have had all these guys who are injured on that O-line who are coming back, going to be solid. I think that, there's a third team, by the way, that I think everybody's picking. We didn't pick the most common team here.
With the Patriots?
Patriots.
Yeah,
Everyone's
because
going
of Drake
Patriot.
May.
Well, because of Vrabel.
Same.
I mean, I think, by the way, Vrabel is going to get you to 9 and 8, 10 and 7, and then not do anything in the playoffs. Like, he's that coach, right?
Well, let's see. I mean, Drake May could be the best quarterback he's ever had.
Will he use him, though? Will he let Drake May cook? That's not Mike Vrabel's style at all.
I'm so glad you brought up the Patriots because did you guys see the story about the Patriots' famous receiver?
Yep.
Stephon Diggs.
Oh, no. What happened to stuff now?
Cardi B scrubbed her entire social media of all Steph Diggs imagery. Looks like they're breaking up. And just may I say, before I left on vacation, I said castles were overrated. Don't actually want to stay in a castle, which Stephon Diggs and Cardi B went to go stay in some castle, some kind of love shack.
This is a real castle.
That was not like joy in her voice.
There's real crocodiles in there.
She didn't want to be in there.
I wonder if Marie Antoinette was getting old down here.
All-time soundbite.
Oh, my God. Would you get over the castle, Maggie?
I can't. No, because
the guy almost cheated on her. He almost cheated on her in the original video. Of course he was going to cheat on her.
No, but she had no problem with that when it's a yacht. When it's a yacht, you can do all the pink powder you want with every woman in every string bikini in South Beach. You go to a castle where it's basically a glorified porta potty in that bathroom, you lost her.
That's not how we lost her. Have you read any of the stories?
Well, no.
He cheated on her. That's the headline.
Well,
That's
I
the
mean,
least surprising news I've ever heard.
he dates Stephon Diggs.
Respectfully.
I mean, come on. The tiger went tiger.
The speculation a month ago, an Instagram model by the name of Sky Marlini went public with her chats and pictures of Stephon Diggs and accused him of cheating on Cardi B. So
that and the castle.
It's not the castle.
Does this sound like joy in her voice? Play it again, Manny.
Oh, my God. You in the castle.
This is a real castle.
Like, she's disbelief, but, like, not in a good way. It's like, wow, you really got me a set of knives. Huh.
Castle.
No, you're exactly wrong. The castle was cool. Cheating on her was not cool.
Well,
years ago, the Vikings put out a video in the locker room of who would you not let your sister date, and everybody said Stephon Diggs. Well, looks like they had some points.
Right, because they don't like castles. They're like, well, he loves taking people to old drafty places without modern air conditioning. No.
It was the plumbing.
I think Cardi B likes a castle in that clip.
The alligators, no one wants to be around that.
They're not alligators, they're crocodiles. I thought you knew the difference.
There's real crocodiles in there.
Honestly, even worse, because when we went to the alligator farm in New Orleans, we found out the difference between alligators and crocodiles. Crocodiles way more vicious, according to... Who's the guy who gave us the tour who only had 3 fingers?
I wish I remembered his name. I did not know.
Billy Joe. Anyway, yeah,
Definitely not Billy Joe.
You think Cardi B knows the difference between crocodiles and alligators? She's from the Bronx.
Well, there's always those stories every once in a while about someone keeping a
sewer
alligator in the bathtub or whatever.
Those are called rats.
Anyway, I thought the castle had something to do with it. She had to expect that Stephon Diggs was going to cheat on her. I mean, it's Stephon Diggs.
Well, I think the original video, like Stephon Diggs is like, hey, babe, try this, whatever. I don't know. Like, it just seemed like it was a little too loose on that ship. And did anyone else get that vibe?
It was very funny because a lot of men on social media, because a lot of women have been championing this new relationship. A lot of men who know about Stephon Diggs were like, I don't know if this is the one you should be championing, ladies.
No.
Like, this guy, we know his deal.
Well, also, he's the classic rebound guy.
Exactly.
Yeah. You need those guys in this world.
Which is why she shouldn't have been posting the way she was. Like, she was trying to get back at Offset, her ex-husband or soon-to-be ex-husband.
Who also cheated on her.
Yeah.
Yes. So she's like, oh, look, I got this new man who's big, strong, and NFL football player. And I'm like,
handsome.
but he's also a notorious womanizer.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you don't want to see that when you're with the rebound guy. But you know what it is. And again, like, everyone needs these kind of people in society. This is what makes the world go round.
I personally have no experience with this kind of situation where I was trying to get back at my famous ex by going on Instagram on a yacht.
No, you haven't?
No, I mean, listen, I understand. When you're on a boat, all bets are off. I mean, that's where the magic happens.
It's international waters.
Yeah,
it's different rules.
Just being on a boat alone is huge.
It's fair.
You missed that. Half our week was playing the I'm on a boat video from Lonely Island. Do you know that video?
Yeah, I do know that video.
With T-Pain. So we had a nautical themed week when you were on vacation last week. Just basically anything, just get on a boat, you're special automatically.
I was on a boat last week.
No way, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh my gosh, you buried the lead.
She was with Andy Samberg and T-Pain on a boat.
Yeah, I was.
You're on a pontoon boat?
In northern Michigan. Yeah, pontoon boat.
Do you have a cooler with beers and all that?
Of course, it's lake life.
Hell yeah.
It comes with a cooler of beers. Like, you get arrested if you don't have a cooler of beers. Lake life is the best. Pontoon boat, not the pink powder situation, considering it was a family atmosphere. But, yeah, we were in bathing suits and we were on a boat, so technically same.
I heard that's
pretty cool.
Milk powder, by the way, and that pink stuff that Stephon Diggs, that's Nesquik.
It's protein powder. No, you got it. At first, when I married into the family I married into, I was not into lake life. It's really their thing. I just wasn't familiar with it. I wasn't really a lake.
Because I'm too slow to react to the first move. So once you get back on the crossover, I'm still standing in the same spot. I'm uncrossoverable.
That's like Tom Brady. But people say it's really not fun to just sack him because he just goes right down.
Yeah.
It's not satisfying.
If you cross me over, you have the greatest crossover ever. I'm not going to fall because I haven't reacted yet. My brain sees the first move. And no, I'm not good.
No, I have to wear water shoes, which may be the most unflattering piece of clothing possible.
I love water shoes now. At the beach, water shoes are money.
They are. It's sad to say because nobody looks good in them. Like, you can't pull them off.
I don't know. Shoes, they're lame.
It's so bad, but you need them for the bottom of a lake.
Kind of look like a casual version of a Navy SEAL when you come out of the water with those water shoes. Like, that person is serious. That kid knows what he's doing.
Maybe some people do. I do not.
I mean, the only lake I've been in is Lake Travis, and it was fine, but it was freezing. Like, what's the deal with that?
The lake I was in is very shallow.
It's not heated, EJ. It's not a heated pool.
I love Manny's Mr. Outdoorsman suddenly. He's like, get in the lake, guys.
This was unreasonably cold. Like, me and Andrea were super excited. We're like, ooh, we're in Austin. We're gonna swim in the lake, and it was like, like sunset. We thought it would be gorgeous, and I thought I had, hypothermia or whatever. It was bad.
No, you got to do what all those people in Austin, Joe Rogan, all those dudes. It's the cold plunge.
Get in the lake, says the kid who didn't go into the lake when he went on his lake trip this past
I was going to
summer.
say, Manny's talking a big game here about getting in the water.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if I see that from you. I think you're a Doc and a beers guy.
Listen, you know me well, Max.
I do, because you and I are one and the same
No
when it comes
water
to lake
skiing?
life.
No water skiing, Manny?
Water skiing. Why am I going to get a water skiing? I'm brown. I don't do that. We don't do that.
Okay.
You don't jet ski?
No. You jet ski?
I've jet skied before, yeah.
Oh, dude.
Jet skiing is mad fun.
Put a helmet on.
I was talking about
life
water skiing, though, like when you have to actually use physical skills to get up on the water skis.
Mm-hmm.
I am way too inebriated for that.
That's why you get on the jet skis.
Jet skis on a lake. Oh, God, those are so annoying.
But the water skiing is also you're talking about a tough look to pull off. When you're hunched over and you're basically 5 seconds away from face planting and just going skidding across the water.
Why don't you guys do some exercise and do some kayaking? How about that, guys? A little back workout.
EJ, there's a huge backlash against jet skis on a lake. People hate it.
Like, those people suck.
I didn't mind it.
Oh, come on. Are you kidding me? Like, you're trying to have a nice time getting hammered on your pontoon boat and all of a sudden a guy zipping around.
I didn't mind it.
It is a bit of a, I'm anti-jet ski, anti-motorboat on a lake.
What?
You're just on too small of a lake. When you're on big lakes, it doesn't matter. You don't really feel
kidding me?
it.
Do you know how many people fight over noise on lakes? I'll show you some Instagram videos of wars.
It's a free country. Sorry, I have a right to be on my jet ski.
And honestly, there is no bigger place where that's invoked than on a lake.
Exactly.
Yeah. The
People
free country
do they want.
crowd.
They do boat parades.
I'm about to win my 4th poll of the day.
Oh,
I'm
here we
going to
go.
put out, do you like jet skis on a
won
lake?
the first poll because you goosed the first poll.
How so?
Because the conversation about Ken Griffey was you said that nobody cares about his defense, which we
No.
said
Bogusch
was not
said
true.
people know his defense first. I was like, well, that's a clear win for Perloff.
Okay.
But isn't that what Bogusch said? Pull the tape.
Question is, Ken Griffey like lakes?
I think
that
he does.
poll up.
I think he does.
888.
Cincinnati. Are there lakes in Ohio? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Rivers?
Rivers, maybe. I don't think there are lakes in Ohio.
There's got to be.
There are no lakes in Ohio?
He probably enjoyed marine life in Seattle.
In southern Ohio,
beautiful.
near Kentucky? No way there's lakes there.
Really?
I don't
That's
know.
like bluegrass country,
But
right?
river life is not lake life.
No, I feel like it's very different.
I feel like rivers are dangerous. I grew up near rivers. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to really go in rivers.
No. Stay away from those. Lakes.
Big lake gal.
Suddenly, took me a decade and a half, but I got there.
Suddenly is not that's not suddenly then.
Well, hopefully my life is long.
Apparently
888.
Perloff, not a jet ski guy.
Shock.
Oh, I love jet skiing at the ocean.
Nor a motorboat
Big.
guy.
I'm a huge jet ski fan. But in a quiet lake where noise pollution is a major issue, nope.
The noise police. 888-710-4ISN. 888-710-4476. Okay, this conversation started with us saying who is the most improved NFL team this offseason.
Oh, right.
Perloff went with the Tennessee Titans. I went with the Chicago Bears. What say you? We also have a brand new Mount Olympus for you at the top of the hour. And Christine Brennan has a new book about Caitlin Clark and the revolution of women's sports and all the controversies surrounding Caitlin Clark going back to college. She dives into all of it. It's amazing. So we'll get to that as well. It's the Maggie Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Saying popularity-wise, it's not like, oh my God, Ken Griffey Jr. was the greatest center fielder ever, arguably. People did not care. They just want to see him hit a 500.
Him robbing home runs.
But the home runs is why Ken Griffey Jr. is Ken Griffey Jr.
No, he's Griffey because he was running up fences.
Yeah,
and
that's a big
catches.
part of it too.
100%.
Yeah.
You don't think it's a massive bombs to right field?
There's one you're wrong on.
It's gonna be a good day with Maggie and Perloff.
People I work with. This portion of the show is brought to you by Wesley Financial. Stuck in a timeshare, want out? Contact Wesley Financial Group now and get a free timeshare exit information kit at wesleyfinancialgroup.com. All right, there's several things to sort out here before we jump into our next topic. One, EJ said there were no lakes in Ohio because it's bluegrass country.
Yeah.
Because he thought that the buffalo roamed on 8 bluegrass like the plains of Wyoming, which was amazing.
I think we actually owe some people an apology for that one.
I don't know people because I knew immediately of like, what are you talking about? He's like, it's bluegrass country. I don't know what that meant.
Well,
I don't know what bluegrass
You
is.
said Southern Ohio. We were asking about, we're talking about lake life. You said, are there lakes in Ohio? I guess somehow I'm going to blame the early morning hour. Lake Erie is a big one.
Yeah, everybody knew that. You didn't, that's
Well, you didn't say Lake Erie.
Cleveland. Of course, it's not a great lake.
You could have said it, and we all would have said,
But that's
"Oh, right,
Southern
mistake
Ohio.
by the lake."
Southern Ohio is stuck between West Virginia, Kentucky, and Indiana. That's not the Great Plains. That's what you were thinking. Like it was dry.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Kentucky, I don't think of lakes. So when I thought of Cincinnati, I also didn't think of lakes.
Yeah, there's a lot. And then there was...
But I was wrong, clearly. So I'm fine saying that.
Believe me, I've done that a million times. But your logic that they were buffalo roaming on the bluegrass is pretty good.
No, I really thought this was like Kansas, apparently.
I don't know what bluegrass is.
Doing geography this early in the morning for some reason is difficult, and I'm not sure why.
Okay. Well, you know where Ohio is on a map at 7 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, right?
I do, but maybe there was the synapses in my brain were not connecting mistake by the lake, Cleveland. Like, that should have been top of mind. I'm going to blame the lack of sleep.
Okay. But that's not the only controversy. That rejoin, I still think I'm in the right here, and I don't think I juiced the poll.
I didn't cut it. You guys argue.
You juiced the poll.
What the question was, you said it was 100% because he climbs up walls. I said
I did not say that. First of all, this all began with we were responding to you saying that no one cared about him playing defense.
This is about Ken Griffey Jr. We were talking about Manny Machado got his 2000th hit last night, and we were asking why Manny wasn't a bigger, not that he's not a star, but why isn't he talked about more as the greatest players in the game currently? Like we talk about, well, Shohei's on a different level, but Freddie Freeman and, guys like who are his contemporaries or
Fernando Tatis
on his own team.
Because I said that Tatis has a lot more flair at the plate.
Right. And then Manny brought up, well, Machado plays great defense. And you said nobody cares about defense. You don't care about defense.
I don't think Machado, his defense is getting the buzz. Like, I think that's... Yeah, he's great at defense, but I don't think you tune in necessarily for defense.
Right, and then you said it's like Ken Griffey Jr. People just wanted to watch him hit home runs.
Greatest fielding center fielder arguably ever, but
that's the first time you said that sentence.
Did I say he was greatest center fielder?
Then nobody cared about it though.
But then no one cared because people just want to see him hit home runs.
I just think like Ken Griffey Jr.
Trying to catch the audience up on the controversy.
I just think that Ken Griffey was known more for the home runs by far. Like it was the fact that he was a great fielder alone would have done nothing.
Where's this poll, by the way?
Oh,
it's on his
page.
This is always the unofficial Perloff polls that he puts together.
I'm winning all the Maggie. I win all these polls because you guys are whack.
Perloff more in tune with the X audience.
With common sense. I'm more in tune with common sense. I don't have buffalo roaming on bluegrass in the plains of Kentucky.
By the way, can you roam on bluegrass? I've only heard bluegrass as a musical term. Is there bluegrass?
No, I have no idea. I'm way out of my depth on this.
Is that an agricultural term as well?
Research on what bluegrass is? I assume it's a real thing. Yes,
I think it's a real thing.
EJ, book a law expert.
I don't know.
You got one in your Rolodex? Yeah, I think you can roam on bluegrass.
Somebody get a landscaper.
But you just said bluegrass. It's a thing. It's not blue, but it is grass.
Okay. No, Kentucky bluegrass is actually what is on the field at Boise State.
That's amazing.
That explains a lot.
How'd they get it imported?
That explains a lot.
It's like the Arizona Cardinals. They keep it outside for a while, then they move it inside.
Oh, the groundskeepers, that's the true MVP, to bring that bluegrass over from Kentucky.
The Buffaloes actually transported all that bluegrass on over to Idaho.
Yeah.
But this was just a moment. I'm like, is the audience hearing what I'm hearing? Andrew Bogusch on the rejoin says it's 100% about him climbing the center field. And you just said that's not what I said.
Can you play one more time?
I'm just saying popularity-wise, it's not like, oh, my God, Ken Griffey Jr. was the greatest center fielder ever, arguably. And people did not care. They just want to see him hit it.
Pause there. Pause it. That's what we were responding to. You said people don't care.
Keep playing. They just want to see him hit it. 500.
Him robbing home runs.
But the home runs is why Ken Griffey Jr. is Ken Griffey Jr.
No, he's Griffey because he was running up fences.
Yeah, that's a big part of it, too.
100%.
Yeah.
You don't think it's a massive bombs to right field?
This one you're wrong on. My 100% was about that his defense mattered, not that he cared 100% about his defense. Because there have been home run hitters who do nothing on defense. What makes him is because he did all of those things.
To me, I think it's his most beautiful swing in Major League Baseball history.
Yeah, and I mean, sure.
I think the home runs is a big deal, but I mean, the saving the home runs and the center fielder was great, but I mean, that swing,
Yeah, the swing is beautiful, and if you're just doing what's more popular, he's going to win 60-40 offense to defense. But you can't say that no one cared about Griffey's defense. That was the jumping off point for me
fair,
and EJ.
Fair.
Yeah.
But I think the real big distinction is the home runs.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. But I think, again, there was like a statement, and then there was an immediate, like, I don't want to call it backpedal, but kind of a backpedal where it's like, well, nobody cared about his defense, which is a little different.
We also have a poll out there for you. Who is the better coach, Bill Belichick or Phil Jackson? I'm actually surprised that this one is such a big landslide.
How many times are you going to be surprised when I win these polls? Like, is it going to happen every day?
Well, because I don't think that's what was happening in the moment, by the way. And first of all, if you were going to say, like, in the moment, I think Phil Jackson was given a lot of credit for how he was able to steer 2 different dynasties. Going back to L.A. to help Kobe win more, I think absolutely helped in his argument for being a great coach, not just like some guy who's rolling the balls out at practice. And beyond that, I think Belichick's reputation has actually taken a hit. And I know this because I put Belichick on my Boston Mount Olympus, and I got crucified for it. And I don't, the idea that Brady is hands down won this debate of, who was more responsible for the dynasty. I thought Belichick has actually been taken down a peg.
I totally know what you're talking about. But I do think there's when Kevin Durant went to the Warriors and won those titles and everyone's like, well, you joined the Warriors. Phil left the Bulls to go to the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe. Ultimately, I think he walked into a ready-made situation is why I think some people would put him a little bit below Belichick.
Do you think any part of this is that we just assume that coaching football is harder and more involved than coaching basketball?
100%. I said that too, Bogusch. Like, yeah, there's much more intricacy in play calling. You have much more of an impact. Baseball, like, nobody's going to put a manager. Like, who's the...
Maybe old time, but now the front offices are the ones who are making the lineups and everything.
Who is the consensus GOAT? I mean, EJ was right, by the way. Phil Jackson's number 1 on every list I could see. I thought Red Auerbach might be, but who's baseball's Bill Belichick or...
Casey Stengel?
Joe Torre gets a lot of love, but that was as much
like
about
Phil
like
Jackson,
managing
personalities.
I mean, what about the Lou Pinellas and the Earl Weavers and those guys?
Oh, did they win enough?
Yeah, Torrey's got all the World Series. I mean, Bobby Cox has a lot of respect, but the next sentence is they only won one World Series.
LaRussa was a genius.
Yeah. People think he was a genius. People think he's the greatest manager of all time.
I don't know. No, it's
one
hard
of
to
them.
do in baseball.
Yeah, maybe. Is he on the Mount Olympus of managers?
If we're doing 12 gods, he might be on Mount Olympus.
Oh, yeah, I think Casey Stengel is a good one.
I feel like he has to be the GOAT, right?
I guess, yeah. I mean, I can't. But why would Red Auerbach be the GOAT in men's basketball, NBA as well?
You know what Pete Pilati would say if he were here.
Oh, Mr. Bruce Bochy.
Bruce Bochy.
Do you guys ever see those old Red Auerbach videos where he shows you how to play basketball? I know EJ, you see these.
Yeah, I'm a nerd, so yes.
Yes, it's like him and like Pete Maravich showing you how to do a crossover dribble. Like Red Auerbach has a GOAT feel to me. So does Phil Jackson, but yeah, Belichick is considered like a genius, like a coaching, like he figured out things the other team could not do. Same with, I think Popovich has a little bit of that too.
Popovich is a genius as well. I do agree with Maggie though. This idea that he was playing with farmers and plumbers is crazy. Like
I just don't like him.
Tim Duncan has more MVPs. He has more MVPs than Kobe.
Yeah.
Also, let's talk about after Kawhi left and after Tim Duncan retired. Then what happened to the Spurs?
They fell apart.
Tony La Russa, by the way, is second all time in wins.
I was looking at that. I'm like, I think Tony La Russa, because the other managers are guys from really old eras.
So
Joe McCarthy.
Oh, Joe McCarthy's first?
No, Connie Mack is first.
Connie Mack is first.
Connie Mack is who I'm thinking of. He managed for like 50 years, right?
And he has a sub 500 winning percentage. So he's a compiler.
There is a Reddit post, is Bruce Bochy the greatest manager of all time? Nice. I haven't clicked on it yet.
He's 6th all time in wins, and he's still working.
Is La Russa, do you ding him for the PEDs that he was around?
Well, then you have to ding Bobby Cox, and you got to ding all those.
Yeah, he also had some.
But I feel like La Russa was like had McGuire.
He really wrapped his arms around those guys in a way that feels.
Bobby Cox didn't.
Yeah, I think
well,
so.
he didn't
Like,
have those guys. He
Yeah,
managed Mark McGuire.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about Canseco McGuire. Like, we kind of didn't really know steroids was as much a thing in that era.
Right.
Who's
in,
the
like,
Bobby
80s.
Cox guy? Yeah.
There were plenty of Braves guys who were on steroids in the 90s.
Who got busted? I don't think of any of them.
David Justice.
Yeah, that's the
David
only
Justice.
the only name I can think of.
I mean, I got to go through rosters.
I think it's steroid.
we're going to
David
find a
Sure,
few.
there are guys there, but Justice is the guy that comes to mind. Chipper never got popped. I don't think Andrew ever got popped.
No, and logic would tell you that there were guys on those teams cheating. Like,
But
they
they're
just
the
is what
greatest
it is.
pitching
But
team of all time, right?
that too.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have Mark
Joe
McGuire.
Yeah, I think more Joe Torre has been a guy that has to maybe answer questions about steroids than Bobby Cox.
Well, who is Torrey had?
A-Rod?
Chuck Knobloch was using steroids. I mean, like,
Guys,
everybody
it
was
was
using
the
steroids back
90s.
then. Yeah.
Right.
Ken Kennedy said it. There was like 70% of guys he thought.
Pudge Rodriguez.
Probably not Mets.
Well, I was thinking about that because they just got the bad
they stayed
stuff.
clean and lost.
That's why we lost so much.
Well, I was actually thinking about that with Bobby Valentine because I'm like, didn't he coach the Texas Rangers and then he coached the Mets and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Torrey takes the heat for A-Rod because he had already gotten busted in Texas, right?
I mean,
Yeah, he admitted to using in Texas.
Also, he didn't win with A-Rod, so,
Yeah,
you
he
know.
did.
I mean, he didn't win at the highest level like
Yeah,
he did
no, that was
before.
Girardi.
Girardi.
Yeah, he won with the skinny core four.
Yeah, I
Torrey's
know.
not a steroid guy.
Yeah,
Right,
then
Andy Pettit was
he had
good.
Giambi though.
Oh,
he,
yeah, Andy-
he ended up
yeah.
getting guys. Andy
Yeah,
Pettit.
Andy Pettit, yeah.
He had Roger
Clemens.
Clemens. Yeah, he won. Yeah, he won with
Rocket.
He
Guys,
definitely won with steroid guys.
the 90s. Like, I hate to do the blanket thing because there were the guys who I do think were clean, the Jeters and the Griffeys and stuff like that. Frank Thomas, but I
think there are levels.
every manager.
I think there's a difference between Tony La Russa and other managers.
I agree.
Yeah. They're levels. I hear what you're saying. Torrey won with Bernie, for God's sakes. If Bernie was doing steroids, he should have done more.
Hey,
I don't think
now.
Bernie was doing
Say no
steroids.
to
Yeah, that's what I
drugs, kids.
mean.
Chill out.
Say no to drugs,
That was
kids.
a hell of a baseball player.
Naturally.
I mean, I was going to the thing that I hate
Great
how the
musician,
steroid
too.
conversation goes because it just feels like guys who didn't hit home runs, we automatically assume didn't use steroids.
Yeah, that's
guys,
not true.
Guys who did hit home runs, they use steroids. And it's like, you don't think that there were some scrubs that were using steroids? Come on.
Derek Jeter only hit 20 home runs. He can't be on the stuff.
I gotta keep it simple. Just tell me who's on the big home run hitter with the baggy uniform. That guy's on steroids. The pitcher who comes back after a torn elbow. No,
Sounds like you just described David Ortiz.
I really feel like these guys who are like not big home run hitters who are getting in the Hall of Fame fairly easily, I think that's a big part of it. Like, Craig Biggio, you only hit 15 home runs a year. You couldn't have been on steroids. It's like,
You just brought up, does Terry Francona? Not greatest, but
Brady's manager?
No. It's a steroid guy. He's a Manny.
No. I was thinking, well, both.
Oh.
Nah,
But at least Terry Francona was winning when they actually had rules in place, so you're not supposed to do this.
Also, we all sort of secretly love Manny and all that stuff. Like, I don't think people
I love
hold
you
it
too.
against him.
I almost feel Manny's weird because I almost feel like people they expect nothing from him.
Yeah.
like morality from Manny Ramirez. No, of course he was juicing,
and
it's
he
like,
also-
you almost love him for it.
Yeah, and he also took like one of the weird like estrogen drugs, so it became like it was like a punchline. He was like, "Oh, sweet Manny."
Yeah. He kind of occupies the Manny being Manny. He occupies like this Gronkowski space. Not
Yes,
saying that Gronk
yes.
was on steroids, but like,
Right.
oh, that lovable idiot.
Yeah. By the way, I googled which manager is most associated with steroids. AI Overview said Tony La Russa is
Because
the
of
manager
Mark-
most
yeah.
discussed because of Mark McGuire.
Yeah.
Who is Sammy's manager? I don't even.
Louis was
He
Pinella
had
at one
Pinella,
point.
but
Yeah.
not in 98 though. I don't know who that
Barry
guy
Bonds
was.
was
in
what?
98.
Felipe Alou?
Yeah, I mean, you're Maggie. You're right. It was the 90s.
Come on. Yeah, you guys want to do this revisionist history like, there were, like, not every team.
But some teams got 100 on the test, Maggie.
John Riggleman was the manager of the Cubs. In
Jim
98.
Riggleman.
Jim Riggleman.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Did I say John? Sorry, my bad. Jim.
Yeah.
And I guess Dusty Baker would have had Bonds for a little bit
And
in San
Dusty Baker
Francisco,
also.
right?
Yes,
Definitely.
Yes, 2000,
That's crazy because
2000s.
Felipe and Dusty are like very respected baseball men.
Of course.
But Maggie's right. Nobody comes out alive from that era.
No, but they needed Dusty Baker to clean up that whole Astros mess. Remember,
I know.
they're cheating, but Dusty Baker's here now, so everything's going to be fine. I mean, it's elevated status to hold. He deserves it.
I can't believe I bought that narrative, actually. I'm like, oh, yeah, Dusty Baker. You're right. I forgot about Barry Bonds. Yeah. I don't even know how we got here. How did we get here?
Ken Griffey defense.
Yeah.
All right, Ken Griffey,
And one
the
of your
guy.
Fugazi
Also,
polls.
Lou Piniella.
Guy hit the ball farther than anyone, and no one thought he did steroids. because he came out 18 and he was gigantic. Yeah, it's weird. Judge is bigger and stronger than anyone, and people think he's clean. So who knows? I'm not saying either of those guys did anything. It's hard to tell.
Well, when you're 6'8" and you came into the league 6'8" and you are 6'8" and you look exactly the same way, it's very different than when guys like Pudge Rodriguez.
Yeah, we watched guys' heads grow in the 90s.
Yeah.
Right. But I do think this idea that you came in at a certain size.
But we say that, but then Mark McGuire came in gigantic.
Judge,
and then he was a step.
Judge was also 27 years old when he broke the bigs. He was already a grown man. He wasn't in one of these. He wasn't A-Rod who broke in when he was 18.
But why would you think that these kids coming up would not do this to get up?
Well, because there are pictures of Aaron Judge being the biggest kid on his 11U team.
Yeah,
so, like, when you're just big, you're big. I think that's the point.
Abnormally big.
Right.
Griffey was like that, too. He came in the league, and had that, his backside is huge.
I'm looking at a 1988 picture of Mark McGuire and his biceps. His biceps are bigger than my head. Like, he was a big guy. He wasn't as big as he was in St. Louis, but he was big. He was just a naturally big guy.
Yeah. Again, like, we don't. All I'll say is we have no idea. We just don't have the slightest idea who's doing what. We don't know about any slugger because it doesn't have to be that obvious. Then there's all kinds of steroids now, too.
I know. I just love to think that the pitchers weren't doing anything when that's obviously not true also.
They were, but who cares, right? Like, I mean.
If I'm the hitter, I care.
Because Andy Pettitte could rehab faster?
Yes, and he's playing in playoff games and winning in playoff games. Roger Clemens winning 7 Cy Youngs. Yeah, people care.
Roger Clemens winning 20 games at like 41 years old.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
But it's not as big a deal as Barry Bonds hitting 73 home runs.
I don't know. Roger Clemens, that was a huge
deal.
That was a federal case.
I hear it. But generally, middle relievers doing steroids so they get back to the field faster is not what I think of when I think of the steroid era. I think of massive home runs. Again, I'm always back to the home runs.
I still think of Roger Clemens. Roger Clemens is the only guy. He's the pitcher I still think about.
Because it's Clemens and Bonds can't get to the Hall of Fame.
He was such an obvious liar. He was running around being like, I never used steroids. And meanwhile, like he looked like a linebacker.
And they had quite a bit of evidence.
Oh, him throwing the bat at Mike Piazza? That was
no, I'm saying that guy Brian McNamee, who stood in front of Converse, was like, I not only gave him to him, I gave him to his wife.
Whatever.
I saw a video of him throwing that bat.
Schmevidence?
Yeah. They showed a video of him throwing that bat.
You gotta hope you get Manny on your jury.
He looked incensed. Like I was like, that's a crazy person. Like I haven't seen it in a while. They were showing it because the Subway Series was this past week, and I was like, that guy is a lunatic.
Well, maybe your bat shouldn't break right in front of my general area, all right? Piazza.
You could also chalk that up to just adrenaline, but I don't know.
Go Yankees.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. See you guys on the phones. We got a lot of things on the table for you today, including the Belichick-Phil Jackson debate, who's the better coach. Also, who's more likely to pass the GOAT in their sport? Is it LeBron passing Michael Jordan, or is it Mahomes passing Tom Brady? Be right back.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Look a little like Freddie Mercury.
A little bit.
Well, because he's wearing a mustache
Yeah.
right now. If you took the mustache off, not at all.
Well, does Freddie Mercury look like Freddie Mercury without the mustache?
No.
Good point. Well, probably because it's him.
Put that on a poll.
He's
Is
the
that
real
a compliment
guy.
to look like Freddie Mercury?
Yeah.
I think so. I'm trying to be Freddie Mercury for Halloween.
You realize it's July.
Yeah.
Well,
How long does it take you to grow a mustache?
How long is it? Not too long. I have one on my face at the
Is this
moment.
like when Aaron Rodgers grew his hair long and said it was so he could be John Wick at Halloween?
Yeah.
That was the most... He talked about that costume for 3 months, just like Manny's doing. And then it's like, you just put on a black leather coat and grease your hair, and that's it?
Also, I think it was during the pandemic we weren't really supposed to be congregating like that, but I'm not going to get into that can of worms. But Manny, you got time to regrow that Freddie Mercury mustache if you wanted
Why shave
to.
it off?
Well, I'm just saying.
No.
Great.
Do you remember post-wedding what he looked like without the mustache?
You guys would be appalled by the way that I
Keep
look
the
without a
mustache.
mustache.
Yeah, this is a young person thing.
Well, I mean, also I've kept the mustache now for 2 years. So I mean, when I shave, I mean, even when I look at myself in the mirror, I ask myself, "Who the hell is that?"
If you can grow it, men need facial hair. Facial hair is like makeup for men. What is for women.
Yep.
You need it.
Yeah, well.
Sucks for my brother. Can't grow facial hair.
Oh,
That
chubby.
Chubby little straight teeth loser.
Hey, what were the
his
results from
fancy
that
college
poll
degree.
yesterday?
With his fancy college degree, yeah.
Can you find the poll we asked, would you rather be overweight with straight teeth or skinny with crooked teeth?
Oh, the skinny with straight teeth definitely won. I saw that poll this morning. I was like, what is this poll?
Skinny with crooked
teeth. Yeah, skinny with crooked teeth won 54%.
Yeah, somebody said you'd rather be Steve Buscemi than Rex Ryan. I don't know if that's a slam dunk from the woman's aspect.
Well, I
by
mean,
the way.
listen, you could pick other skinny people other than Steve Buscemi. I mean,
So like David Bowie, he kind of messed up.
yeah, I
teeth,
mean, I
right?
think you're getting in the right direction there. Steve Buscemi has other things going on besides being skinny.
You just told me the Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out. Are we sure that's coming into theaters?
No, it's
July
not.
25th.
It's not. It's streaming only on Netflix.
Interesting.
Well, they might do like a little run in theaters.
Well,
so
perhaps, yeah,
it's-
but
so it could be in the Oscars
Yeah.
because
Oh.
I would front runner. Too strong a word. I don't know.
Can't wait until
What category?
Can't wait until Bad Bunny gets an Oscar for best supporting role in a comedy.
Yeah, no, there's no in a comedy at the Oscars.
Oh well, what do I know? I don't watch the Oscars.
I
I,
mean,
watch sports.
Cinematography for the fight
Yeah,
scene with
lighting.
Shooter McGavin.
It's as good a shot as
I
any.
mean, listen,
Sandler and Barker win one for their fight.
They should have. The
It-
guy who
MTV
plays.
Movie Award.
Why am I forgetting that? What's the guy who plays Shooter McGavin's name?
Christopher McDonald.
Christopher McDowell. Yeah. I mean, he's been robbed for too long.
Shooter.
Him and Leo DiCaprio.
Yeah, same. Had to wait it out. Do you have to crawl into like fight a bear? Finally get an
Is
Oscar?
it Travis Kelce in this bad boy
Yes,
too?
it is,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is gonna be amazing. Dan is. I've already seen Dan's scene.
Dan Patrick, yeah.
Oh my God, is he hysterical?
It's
in
either
this
going to
one.
be amazing or it's going to be absolutely awful. Can't wait.
No, it's gonna be amazing.
Okay, so of Happy Gilmore 2, Spaceballs reboot, and Naked,
Naked
Gun
Gun.
reboot, what do you think is going to be the funniest one?
The Naked Gun trailer is pretty funny.
Naked Gun is done by the Lonely Island guys.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
realized that.
Yeah, I told you that.
I think that's a high bar. To do Naked Gun. I'm a little worried.
That it's going to fall short.
Falls short of the originals,
But
which
the question
so
is,
amazing.
which one's going to be the better or funnier one, right?
Yeah.
But I think you got to compare it to the original. I think Happy Gilmore 2.
Will be the funnier one?
I think it's going to be pure joy.
That Naked Gun one looks pretty funny.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Naked Gun.
It could be Spaceballs. I think you guys are, it's not going to come out for a while, but you're underestimating how much bigger even Star Wars is in the culture now. I think even then,
Right, but Star
back in
Wars
the
has
80s?
gotten almost like too serious. To joke about it, I think is going to, I don't know.
I mean, replacing Jabba the Hutt with Pizza the Hutt was great for a 9-year-old Maggie. I don't think it's going to take over the world like it did.
Ludicrous Speed doesn't play still?
You're delicious. Oh, man, I can quote every line from that movie.
Yeah.
Of course you
sadly.
can. Of course you can. That is probably the second least surprising news I've heard today.
Besides, you look like Freddie Mercury.
No, Stephon Diggs cheating on Cardi B.
Yeah. Everyone saw that coming.
We saw it on video. Girls were rubbing his bicep.
That's what I said. I was like, that video.
We
like,
saw it. There it was.
I would too.
Heavy
All
petting.
these women petting Stephon Diggs, and then it's like, who's that guy who looks like Freddie Mercury? In the background.
Can we edit out? There's two parts of the podcast. We edit out whatever Manny just said, and when we were excited that Sofia Vergara could be Manny's mom.
No, that's
You
going to be
guys-
number one on 3 things to remember.
Hola, mommy.
Yeah, I just
was-
think like a mom. If a mom in the neighborhood looked like Sofia Vergara,
You
oh
get
my God.
Sofia Vergara some aguardiente, some Colombian liquor. That's the opening line. I just thought of it. Took me an hour. Thank you very much. That's how long it would take me in the bar.
I gotta tell you, Manny, if she was your mom, we would have been best friends when we were kids. I would have been over every day playing Xbox. It would have been amazing.
Hey, Andrew from down the streets here again.
Yeah.
The 35-year-old
and 8 other boys.
Out with me.
Yeah.
Are you hosting a Boy Scout troop there? Nope. Just hop
We got to
on.
get into the fact that Tom Brady might be dating her. I mean, this guy. have
Wasn't
you-
he just with Sydney Sweeney? Didn't I just have
Yes.
a
And he's with Kate Hudson.
I hate
the
this
other day,
guy.
too.
Yes.
Boo this man. Boo
Go.
him.
Jealousy. Not a good look for you guys.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Two of the greatest of all time, apparently developing a pretty tight relationship. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We're talking about Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Tom Brady and Sydney Sweeney. Again, how we ended last hour.
Yes, she's on many GOAT lists, but not ones that we really touch on this show yet. Just wait till our August content.
Mount Olympus. We should have done that last week when you were out, Maggie. No, you always jump in those conversations.
I jump into that stuff. I got eyes. But here was Patrick Mahomes on the Up and Adams show with Kay Adams saying that he and Tom Brady have talked a lot this offseason, and Mahomes welcomes the advice.
I've actually talked to Tom a good amount this offseason, and it's cool that he wants to give me advice. He didn't have to be like that. He's such a good dude, and I have so much respect for him, and I'll take any advice he gives me.
Very, very stark contrast to what we believe the relationship is like between two other GOATs in a different sport, which is Michael Jordan and LeBron James. LeBron James was on Pat McAfee's show a couple months ago saying, it's kind of frosty between Michael Jordan and himself, and he believes it's just because LeBron's still playing.
Hey, LeBron, we're pulling for your groin.
Once LeBron retires, he thinks finally he and Jordan will maybe be able to have a cozy relationship, but this is happening with Brady and Mahomes. Well, Mahomes is still in the prime of his career, and Mahomes is saying that's such a cool thing for Brady to be open and honest and share these secrets.
Secrets? He said advice.
Or advice, whatever.
I think it's like, how do you handle being a GOAT? I think it's sort of vague life stuff.
Yeah, I
don't think
it could
it's
be
like
more
actual football stuff.
X's and O's. I think it could be everything, but
it's definitely not X's and O's. It's not like Kobe telling his young guys how to do a step back. I mean, that because Mahomes is already established. You think Brady would actually deign to say, hey, I think you should be doing this differently?
I think that they are probably football junkies because I think you have to be at that level. I think you have to watch a lot of film and be a football junkie and how to attack defenses. I think it's innate in doing this for as long as they've both done it. And I don't think they're talking about how do you handle being the face of the league because I think Patrick Mahomes has handled that quite well. Maybe he asks his advice and you can always get better, but Mahomes' personal life is in complete good shape. Like, he's not some guy who's off the rails who needs Tom Brady to come. It's not Antonio Brown. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has a good grip on being a famous person.
So how would this work? Like, you think Tom Brady calls Patrick Mahomes and says, hey, I think you can do this better or that better? I don't think. First of all, Patrick Mahomes probably faces all sorts of challenges, not like deep challenges on like in your marriage, but how do you handle all this? I mean, I think it's hard. Only a few guys, like most people cannot say, Patrick Mahomes, what's it like to raise a family when you're a 3-time Super Bowl champion and a whole city depends on you and like you're the face of the league? I mean, there are very few people who can advise him on that. I think the X's and O's, like, do you think he calls Tom Brady, Tom Brady calls him, says, hey, I think you should look off the X wide receiver here? I can't see them having that conversation.
Yeah, it's a lot more plausible to me because, again, I think they're both watching a lot of tape. And by the way, Brady's still doing...
Tom Brady's not watching a lot of tape.
Tom Brady still is the number one analyst on Fox. He's still very dialed in with the league. I know you think...
In season, yeah.
Okay, well, he's also... We know he's involved with the Raiders, which a caller called up earlier and said, if I'm a Raider fan, I hate this. I hate the fact that Brady is now part of the front office for the Raiders, at least having input on quarterback decisions. We know that for a fact. And he's fraternizing with a division rival who's been kicking your butt for, 10 years. I do get that kind of people being a little miffed. First of all, Raider fans probably already have a little bad taste in their mouth about Brady, just period, because of playoff history. But
Tuck rule.
The Tuck rule, thank you. The bigger issue here, not issue, but the bigger question is not the nature of the conversations between Brady and Mahomes, but just the fact that they have a good relationship. And we're asking you today, who has a better shot of eventually passing the GOAT of their sport? Is it Mahomes passing Brady as the GOAT, or is it LeBron James passing Michael Jordan? Now, LeBron's a lot further in the career, clearly, so there are a lot of people who believe he's already passed him. The longevity debate is real for a lot of people. For Mahomes, we still think he has a lot to go. So who do you think has a better shot of becoming and passing the GOAT?
Yeah, for me, it's definitely Mahomes because the GOAT status is way shakier for Brady, believe it or not. I know he's got all those rings, but it's a team sport in NFL, and GOATs come and go. Even the ultimate GOAT, Jerry Rice, is not considered the GOAT anymore.
Because of Brady.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's different positions. But Montana was considered the best player, but the name GOAT was Jerry Rice because he was the best wide receiver of all time. And even that, he still is probably the best wide receiver, but GOAT comes and goes. It's a team sport. It's just viewed differently. Basketball is all about individuals. It's all about stars. The whole sport is focused on individual players, and that's how we talk about basketball. And that's why Michael Jordan's GOAT status. That's why people argue all day and long about how Michael Jordan was the greatest ever. Nobody's putting that energy into Tom Brady as the GOAT. He's just not going to have the backers. Jordan, listen, and I'm one of them, is always going to have this army of people defending his GOAT status. It's not going to be like that with Brady.
Yeah, I disagree. I think that Brady, it's going to be way harder to topple him. First of all, 7. Mahomes has 3, which is amazing, and he's lost 2 Super Bowls, so he obviously played in 5. But you're not just going to be able to get close and be in the conversation. I think you're going to have to actually get more Super Bowls than Brady, which is going to be very hard. I say impossible. I think it's going to be extremely hard. I think the people think winning a Super Bowl is harder than winning a title. And how I know that is the ring culture thing, right? Because you can win 1 title in the NBA and it's almost like it's not good enough. You can win 1 title for in the NFL and it can last you a lifetime, like EJ's Joe Namath and people like that.
Not Aaron Rodgers.
Well, but at least he's got one.
Not Drew Brees.
I disagree. I think people believe that Drew Brees got his 1 and that's good enough.
Yeah, I mean, Drew Brees kind of got screwed out of one, too.
Well, but nobody's also saying Drew Brees is the greatest of all time.
Favre and Rodgers definitely a disappointment for only getting 1. You'll give me that.
But they have one, and they'll always go down in history.
Joker and Giannis.
I know, but also nobody's saying that Brett Favre's the greatest quarterback ever. If you want to be the greatest at something for the NBA, you need so many rings. I think people don't believe they're as hard to attain. In the NFL, I think a lot of fans believe winning a Super Bowl is the hardest thing you can do, right?
Right, but for example,
so
Jalen
Brady
Hurts,
winning 7 is going to be unparalleled.
The Eagles won the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
Who is everyone talking about?
Saquon Barkley.
Saquon Barkley. It's not the quarterback. It's not Jalen Hurts. I'm reading all these quarterback rankings. Nobody has Jalen Hurts as the number 1 quarterback. So I do think it's a team sport. That's sort of my point. That's why. And Brady was very much part of a team. Basketball, because if you play pickup anywhere, the best player often wins.
So I think Brady is on the sturdier ground also because of what has happened with Bill Belichick since. And it's going to be harder to topple Brady. Mahomes, it's going to be harder to take him down because I think Brady won this who was more responsible for the dynasty debate. Yeah. And that might be stupid, but that's at least how people are viewing it now, that Brady was more responsible. I think Patrick Mahomes, you and I have had this debate. Yeah. The Andy Reid marriage has been amazing for Mahomes. We've talked about if Mahomes was on the Bills, would he have the 3 Super Bowls and stuff like that? And I think, not speaking for you, you don't think so. You think that he had to be with Reid.
Well, he wouldn't have had to face Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, so he might have got one. But I'm not sure I see it that way. The thing about Jordan and LeBron, LeBron is older too, so Mahomes has so much runway ahead of him. At 29, we think he's older, but he's still not even 30.
Yeah, I don't think in football you can expect the kind of longevity, though, that Brady has. Rodgers, let's see. Joe Flacco is playing at 40, but he's not anywhere close to winning a Super Bowl at 40, let alone 42. And I hope that Patrick Mahomes plays for a long time. I know people don't think that because I'm a Bills fan, and it'd be much easier if he was out of the way. But I do love watching him. And so I hope that he plays forever. But the odds are much more against that in a collision sport like football.
Can I clarify? Sorry, this Belichick thing. So if North Carolina goes on a massive run this year, does that mean that Belichick was the GOAT?
You joke. I think this North Carolina thing actually matters.
So
for
this
Belichick's
GOAT debate comes down to the ACC schedule the Tar Heels face?
That North Carolina TCU game kick off the season, suddenly very, very high stakes.
I know we're kind of laughing, but it is amazing how fluid this discussion is about Belichick and Brady. I mean, we're in the upper stratospheres of GOATs now. We're really talking about the greatest of all time. And there's a lot of, it's a demanding thing. That's why I'm saying Jordan for all time. As great as LeBron was, to get past Jordan is just such a tall mountain.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. More likely that Mahomes can pass Brady on the GOAT debate or that LeBron passes Michael Jordan. Let's go to Brad, who's in Oregon. What's up, Brad?
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Just my opinion, and of course my opinion won't get you that chocolate donut, but I think that Brady is going to be the greatest of all time of any sport.
Yep.
to win the Super Bowl, like you guys were talking about, you lose. That's it. You lose a game in the NBA championship. You look forward to the next game. Brady went to Tampa Bay and won a Super Bowl there with that team. I just think that it's so much harder. You lose a couple games in the NFL, you got to wait till the following week to get back out there on the field. You lose a couple games in a row in the NBA, and when Phil Jackson, those guys were coaching, you're back out there on the court the next night or next couple of nights. And as far as coaching, I think Bill Belichick better than Phil Jackson. I think Belichick was coach of the year, I think 3 or 4 times. All the great players that Phil Jackson had under him, and I think he was coach of the year once. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, Brad, thank you for making it. It's funny, Brad saying that in the NFL, you lose a game, you got to wait a whole week. You lose a couple games. In the NBA, you miss a game. It's called strategy. It's called load management. People actually do it on purpose.
Now
now they do. It's like it's looked at as a positive thing.
Kind of like the Thunder took that game off against the Timberwolves and lost 141 to 103.
That was a playoff game. Crazy, right? Rich is in California. Rich wants to weigh in on something else that we were talking about. We got a little sidetracked into a what was Ken Griffey Jr. more known for debate. Things like that happen on sports shows. Was he more known for the home run hitting? Was he more known for his amazing defense? Rich, what do you have?
Well, I had the privilege of watching one William Howard Mays play center field.
Yeah.
And I don't think you have a Ken Griffey running up and down the fences at Candlestick Park. Point being that, he might be a flashier ball player, but that doesn't necessarily make him a better center fielder.
Wait. You don't think that Ken Griffey was a great center fielder?
I think he was a fine center fielder. But the fact of the matter is he was also flashy.
Okay.
I think Willie Mays was a better ball player.
Well, probably. I think we'd all agree with you that Willie Mays was the better baseball player. Yeah.
Pretty high bar.
Well, I think Pearl earlier said that Griffey might be the greatest center fielder of all time.
time.
That was the response.
And Willie Mays is better. Okay. Willie Mays was still pretty flashy out there, though. I mean, some spectacular catches. The greatest plays in baseball history.
The single greatest.
Yeah, the singles greatest play.
Yeah, well, everybody forgets that he also, after the catch, made a throw back into the infield.
Yeah, we remember.
At a place called the Polo Grounds. Not exactly the kind of ball field that Ken Griffey Jr. was playing on.
Yeah, well, I'll give you that, Rich. But we're not denigrating Willie Mays here today. That's not the point. We were just talking about whether or not Ken Griffey Jr. is more known for the home runs or more known for defense.
Willie Mays, the Mets player?
Yeah, Manny.
So this is fun. Willie Mays has the most Gold Gloves ever at center field with 11, with Griffey and Andrew Jones tied at 10. I mean, Andrew was right there. But that's the funny thing about Griffey. He played at the same time. Andrew was crazy in center field. He was amazing. But those three are probably – I don't think there's any doubt those are the three greatest fielding center fielders of all time. Is there Gary Maddox, and my Phillies guy, who couldn't hit, but it was amazing at center field.
So this is a tough dilemma that we have now. We're going to do a little on-air production meeting.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah. So on-air production meeting.
Get in here.
We have another. Ray, everybody, anyone who's out there.
Kaplan.
Yeah, Cap, we need you. So normally at this time, we have the Mount Olympus of Maggie and Perloff. We already said on Thursday we're doing the Mount Olympus of Mount Olympus. For sports gods, period. We're going to do it on Thursday, but we had one for you for today. We do have one for you for today, a whole new thing. Yesterday, the show got left on a cliffhanger. EJ, you weren't here for this yesterday.
Yeah, so I don't even know what happened.
I was here, and I have no idea what you're talking about.
Pearl, come on.
Well, that's not surprising.
Wait, the show was left on a cliffhanger?
Yes. Manny, you remember.
Oh, I recall.
Okay. Yesterday, we got left on the ultimate cliffhanger. I can't write a tease better than what happened yesterday. I'll try. At the very end of the show, as the music is playing with a hard out at the top of the 54-45, you guys all, if you listen to the show, you know our out. Big Friendly called.
Oh.
There it is. Light bulb just went off.
And he has a poem, a rap, a rhyme, whatever, for Manny and for Cap. We literally are running into the wrap it up music. And we got left on a cliffhanger. So we're going to pause the Mount Olympus to go to Big Friendly. Big Friendly, you left us like with the ultimate tease yesterday. We're ready for your rhyme, and good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Maggie Malone, EJ the EP, 411, Sin Anonymous, and Emmanuel Rodriguez. Kaplan, I need you to perk your ears up. So now, last time I called, Magsy, and I've been holding this, Magsy, because I wrote this the last time you were here, but I needed you to hear this so you can pay my debt so I can hide those Buffalo Bill files.
Okay, I'm ready.
Kaplan, okay, now, you were bringing up Zeus eating his children. I went on the chat and I said it was Kronos who ate his children and Zeus set them free.
Yeah, Maggie.
Kaplan chimed in and said, no need for facts, Big Friendly. That was a shot across my bow. Now,
whoa,
Manny Wapo, my mijo, I love you. Much respect. But don't ever, when I'm on the phone, tap a New York Yankees hat to me when we know what happened. We know what happened, don't we?
What,
in the World Series?
Oh, the Yankees? Well, yeah, they lost. They lost to a better team. They stunk. Still my squad, though.
Okay.
What, you want me to not rep my team? What type of fandom is that, Big Friendly? I expect more out of you.
That's why I got nothing but respect for you. But at the same time, when I'm over here in peace treaty time and you guys are firing shots at me, and I'm like, do they not know who I am? So I got something for you, Manny and Kaplan. I got something.
Mamo.
Here we go. You had Chisholm, Soto, Stanton. I'll judge, because in the fifth inning, he couldn't catch a basket of fudge. George Steinbrenner, his soul may at rest. Manny Wapo, you act like that NY on your head means something to the rest. I spit hot hollows, no need for a vest. I see you over there like King Kong pounding your chest. But we all know Tupac said it the best. California knows how to party.
Nope.
12 pitchers on IR, still in first place. 401, is that true? I mean, stop me when I'm lying. I kick facts. I only tell truths. Sports Infinity Kaplan, man, screw you. Don't ever interrupt Daddy when I'm talking. You're not a stooge. Nothing but love for you, mijo, but you can be disciplined too.
Oh, Friendly, I don't know.
Big Friendly, we are all terrified of Kaplan. You have to understand, he's the wizard behind our eyes. Like, that dude has mad computer skills. Are you sure you want to go here?
Hey, and I am the lion that has courage and will rip down the curtain.
Oh, I don't know.
Wow.
Friendly, you don't want the smoke. Kaplan will
Hey.
meme you to the grave.
Listen. Kaplan, my man, I'm from California, baby. I want all the smoke and all the pounds you can give me. I'm not running. And before you let me go, can we give shots out? And this is from a Rams fan.
Yeah.
So this means something. Why don't we talk about Bill Walsh as one of the greatest coaches?
We do.
Because I know, but you guys keep bringing up Bill Belichick. I never heard Walsh in any kind of scandals. And Red Auerbach would have to go down as better than Phil Jackson only because, and I hate to say this as a Lakers fan, Red Auerbach won championships as a coach, a general manager, and he drafted one of the greatest college players, God rest his soul, Len Bias.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Draft was a little. Yes, you're absolutely right. He definitely, as an executive, Phil Jackson as an executive is an embarrassing half a decade for the Knicks. But Big Friendly, I'm going to go back to the original thing here. You don't want the smoke from Kaplan. I think you think you do.
Can y'all back me up a little bit too?
Manny will get to you in a minute.
No, Big Friendly, don't worry about Manny.
Manny.
No, this is not
Manny,
exactly
to be honest
Tupac
with
and
you,
Biggie
Manny.
here with the East Coast, West Coast. I'm telling you, you don't want to tap the bear with Kaplan. You don't want to poke the bear.
Magsy, if you ever see me and a bear in a fight, help the bear. And I got to get to work. Have a great day.
Big Friendly, thank you.
I've seen women.
So the funny part about this, I'm dead serious about Kaplan.
I'm a bottom man.
You got to keep him on your good side.
Another great rap by Big Friendly. I'm a huge fan.
So I think what he misinterpreted Kaplan in the chat saying you don't want to let facts get in the way, that's a shot at me and Perloff, who constantly get things a little twisted, like we did with the Zeus story.
Oh, so you think this is like a misunderstanding?
Wait, whoa.
First of all, was I the one who said Zeus ate his kids? Maybe I did.
I don't lump me into this.
All right, Wikipedia.
I can tell you the Chronos story. I had kids who just took Greek mythology 2 years ago. I don't remember you saying it either.
I don't remember me saying it.
Wait, are you sure we said that?
That was said on the air. That definitely was said.
Maybe it was not me.
Children?
I think it was Maggie. It was
not
me.
Me. I'll blame AI overview.
Wait, and then we screwed up the Zeus story? What is this about?
It's possible I screwed it up. But I think that was Kaplan saying, sometimes we'll get the facts a little wrong. Like earlier in the show when EJ asked if Ohio has any lakes.
And they have 110 apparently.
And one of them the biggest Great Lake that exists.
I'm not
Lake
going
Erie.
we on that one either. Your logic was incredible on that one. That they have bluegrass and that's what buffalo eat or something. I don't even know what.
I looked at the lakes in Ohio. They mostly are up north. That's what I was trying to say.
Anyway,
okay.
We're a little fast and loose here sometimes on the facts.
Sure.
So I think Kaplan was trying to tell Friendly, hey, if you're looking for Encyclopedia Britannica, maybe this isn't the show for you. If you want to have some fun, well, now we're here for it.
Well, I think Big Friendly is a little Kendrick Lamar, where it doesn't take him much to jump out the window. Like, he just saw Drake and J. Cole do a song. He's like, you know what? I'm going to diss these guys.
They do?
You can diss me, Perloff, EJ, Manny, Bogusch. Don't diss Kaplan.
Yeah, Kaplan, he made some.
He will end you.
I didn't do anything wrong. He made a meme with me and Boyle that I still can't get out of my head.
Yeah. No, I'm totally down with you guys. Cap, we love you.
Cap.
Keep it positive, buddy.
Cap doing the graphic yesterday of my gigantic shoes.
That was actually real.
Oh, that was so funny.
That was a graphic.
That was an AI.
Yeah, your comment on
excavation.
your comment on X made me laugh out loud too. I didn't want to put LOL, but there's this picture of these giant shoes and the excavation dig, and Maggie goes, "Finally, you found them," or what was their line? Oh God, that was great.
Telling you, and Cap, that's him just being fun. That's just for S's and G's. If he wants to he could get mean.
But I think Cap would. I listen.
He's benevolent.
Big Friendly is all-time friend of the show. He has no issues here. I do like him going to
go where the women are.
Yeah, I love that he did want to go to war with Manny for just tapping the Yankees. I like it.
Yeah,
it's good.
The Tupac Biggie stuff.
Again, a sensitive West Coaster.
I don't know if it's going to hold
just like
up.
the '90s again.
But here's the deal.
Go East Coast.
Can you be like a diss track guy when your name's Big Friendly?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. EJ, you're the biggest rap expert here. You could have that name, right?
It is interesting. It is a juxtaposition.
Here's the other part. It's odd for Big Friendly and Manny to be at war because Big Friendly has helped Manny more with the
Ian smelling range
trying to get women than you think I have.
Well,
you told Manny to ignore all my good advice and said only go with Big Friendly, saying you can get around a woman so she can smell you. It's not terrible advice.
What's your advice to get women?
I said go to the Knicks party.
And I actually pulled up an image. There were 7,000 men and one woman. Well, that's where you're going to go meet a lady?
In this, Hallmark movie, there's the one girl who's there in the Landry Fields jersey, and their eyes lock, and then they live happily ever after.
Did you go to Knicks Twitter Day?
I did not go to Knicks Twitter Day.
Apparently, there's a lot of good-looking Knicks women there. That's what I've been told.
Listen, I was more caught up on Ben Stiller being at Knicks Twitter Day and Christian Winfield and the women. Because
that's a problem.
You had a great opportunity there. I can't believe you didn't
hold on, but Knicks Twitter Day happened while I went to go watch Kylian Mbappe with my best friend Andrew Perloff.
Oh yeah,
Knicks Twitter Day is you guys have no idea.
Well, apparently there are a lot of ladies.
No idea. Big Friendly, call in again and tell Manny where to meet the ladies. I can't believe.
I love my fiance. I saw the pictures. I was like, single EJ would have been
easy.
Been rejected a lot, probably.
There it is.
Kick, save, and a butte, EJ. All right, well, now it looks like Big Friendly and Manny are at war. I don't like this.
I don't want to be at Friendly with Big Friendly.
Manny Wapo.
I like that nickname. But if you want to go at the East Coast, bro, come at me.
888-710-4ISN. 888-710-4476.
Bunch of Ja Rule now on the returns.
Oh, man. All right. Mount Olympus.
Oh, yeah.
We get back to that in a moment. MVP.
Many dollars.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Oh, welcome back, Maggie Perloff Show. Manny taking a shot back at Big Friendly. We have an inter-show war.
Big Friendly, we love you. You're a great caller. You come up with raps and rhymes for everyone on the show. This was a little more of a diss track, and now you've ignited an East Coast, West Coast battle that nobody was asking for.
We don't want to see this go in the direction that people are, like, there doesn't need to be violence here, Big Friendly.
Yeah. You don't want to go back to, like, the 90s when it was East Coast, West Coast?
No,
a little too violent?
we do not.
I was only 3 years old when the change of the century happened. I'm not educated on what happened.
It's not about that. It's about this would be the last show on earth that should be doing something like that. We don't have nearly the amount of street cred to pull off something like this.
But this is how you get street cred.
Mm-hmm.
Got to start somewhere.
Oh, man. I worry because now for the rest of the country, blame Big Friendly because now Manny's going to be playing only New York rap coming back from break. So don't blame us.
Do you notice whenever Manny doesn't know something, he says, "Well, I wasn't alive."
Hey,
I was too young.
true.
He pulls a caveman lawyer for young people. It's like, hey, what's the capital of Italy? Listen, I was born in 2001. I'm not expected to know that. You do rely on that for any time you don't know something.
It's a wonderful cop-out.
It kind of works.
Yeah, it does.
I'm just a
I've been doing
caveman
this for
lawyer.
27 years.
These funny cell phones. This is an old SNL skit.
I fell into
that
some
Manny
ice.
definitely doesn't know.
Yeah, your scientist thawed me out.
Like, how did you pull an age thing right there in New York? Like, what was? Oh yeah, you don't know the East Coast West Coast fight. You obviously do, dude. So stop with the young thing. People know stuff before they were born.
Not familiar, no.
I'm aware of the '60s.
Oh, because you were alive for them?
No, I wasn't. I joined the one decade I wasn't alive for.
But speaking of things that Manny doesn't know, yesterday you stumped him with Say Anything and the boombox. And
well, I didn't expect him to know that. That was.
But this morning I walk into the newsroom and he goes, "Who's that guy talking to Michael Kay, who's the voice of the Yankees? Used to have an interview show here in New York."
Yeah.
John Cusack.
Oh,
wow.
I saw his face and I was like, I should know that guy's face. And then he immediately said John Cusack, and I immediately said, whom?
Yeah, it's definitely a symptom of Gen Z and maybe millennials that they're like, they take pride in knowing nothing about history.
That's right.
Which is not good.
No.
Wait, can I have another theory, though, about pop culture. I can't tell you about history and other stuff, but about pop culture, I think it's because you don't flip around anymore. You don't flip channels. There's no way that Manny's going to watch Say Anything because he's not going to come upon it flipping channels. Everything is streaming
Could
now.
be.
You've got to select everything you want.
You want me to go onto the History Channel and go stream that? Get out of here, bro.
No, we're not advocating for that. I'm just saying there's all these movies that I know about this. I missed that stuff a little bit, but I know it because I watched it on reruns on syndication or whatever. You don't have that in this day and age. You got to pick everything you're watching.
But the funny thing is, EJ's a big movie guy and hasn't seen The Godfather.
I'm a big comic book movie guy. I wouldn't say
not a big
genre.
movie guy. Okay.
Yeah.
And we also know EJ doesn't like mob movies. He said that many times. So.
Yeah,
Not a mob movie guy.
I think you're absolutely right. Because I'm well aware of movies that were from before I was born.
We weren't alive for the mob era, so we can't.
Well, The Sopranos you were alive for. That was a big part of the mob era, but not a movie. Perloff, you said before there's a movie that's coming out that you think I'm going to have to see.
Oh, I got a movie that you're definitely going to have to see. Bogusch might age out of. There's a movie coming.
Out of?
It's on the waterfront.
Having to take your kids.
Oh, okay.
It's a kids movie. Can you guess the topic about what your son, who's 5,
just turned 6? Yeah.
Yeah. What movie? What's the topic that he would have to go see a movie for?
Fire trucks.
No,
Close.
like Star Wars. Anything. We're in our space era right now.
Or trains. Something about trains.
I love trains.
Dinosaurs.
There's a movie. They're making a movie out of Hot Wheels.
Oh, hell yeah.
They have a
And
TV
John
show.
Chu, who's
Manny's
like a
in.
big-time director, it's a Hot Wheels live-action movie. So
Live action?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like a
Isn't Brad Pitt in one of those
Fast
movies?
and Furious for kids. I mean, you're telling me
like
a
Cars for
6-year-old
kids.
boy is not going to. It's like Cars, but you actually grew up with. Do they still have Hot Wheels?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I think this is such a no. You're going to be forced to take every 6 to 10-year-old boy to this movie.
Do you understand the amount of just contraptions that we have in our house with those Hot
Wheel
Wheels?
tracks?
Yeah.
It's like a track with a
Hell
garage.
Oh, the best.
I know
Those are
one
on my
that's-
algorithm.
It's like.
Why are you laughing?
Because you're closer to 30. I have one that's a volcano. It's insane.
So it's a lot like Barbie hit. So
Yeah.
they want to do Hot Wheels.
Oh,
It's gonna be-
Mattel. It's the same
It's
company.
a Mattel. Some of the world's hottest and sleekest vehicles, like As I have 2 girls, so I don't know, but little boys love any kind of vehicle or train. Like, let's go.
I know. If it moves,
forget about it, cuz.
Moves fast, it's happening.
So that's why when I have a kid, I'm just going to put them in front of a PlayStation. I'm not building.
You're not building racetracks for him?
Because I'm bad at it.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
not good at
EJ,
building
just
things.
wait till the Magnetiles get in your life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to step on Legos at age 4.
You
Big
think
ones,
you have
too.
a choice.
Here's a controller, kid. Go play EA College Football 31.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah,
You'll
you'll get
melt
shamed.
your kid's brain.
You will end up like me.
Some other films.
I started playing video games at 5 years old. Look how I ended up.
Yeah, to be fair, I also had video games when I was about 7 years old. We all turned out decent.
Couple other films Mattel is working on. Barney movie?
No.
Oh, is that supposed to be weird?
Stop that.
The card game Uno, they're turning into a movie. I
We
swear
have
to
no
God.
ideas. We are out of ideas.
I don't know how they're going to do Uno. Rock'em Sock'em Robots. That's
okay.
I'll watch that one.
It's
Something
like
called
Rocky for kids.
Polly Pocket.
Yeah, that was a girl's
That sounds
thing.
familiar.
Okay, that's coming out.
little
on Mattel.
miniature toy.
But I think Hot Wheels. I saw that headline. I'm like, oh, Maggie's going to have to go to the theater to see that bad boy.
And I will take a very expensive nap that day when I go fall asleep at that theater.
Cars is awesome though.
Cars is a great movie.
Oh, yeah, Lightning McQueen. Great character. Anyway, Bogusch is here.
Maggie,
to watch cars, but anyway.
You brought this up yesterday. At first, Clayton Kershaw didn't want to address being picked for the All-Star game by Commissioner Rob Manfred, but we did get his thoughts yesterday. He called the legend selection, quote, weird but cool.
You know, obviously don't deserve to get to go this season. Haven't pitched very much, but, you know, everything that it encompasses to get to go to an All-Star game and get to be around that, get to take my family, and I'll never pass up that opportunity.
Kershaw also said he didn't know the commissioner had this power. As we pointed out yesterday, Manfred hadn't used it since 2022 with Albert Pujols and Miguel Cabrera. Now, Kershaw teammate Yoshinobu Yamamoto picked as an all-star through the more traditional route. He celebrated last night by not surviving the first inning in Milwaukee.
2-2 now. And Vaughn sends it way back. And welcome to Milwaukee. How about that, Andrew Vaughn? Looking good in that Brewer uni. Bernie hits the slide. And Vaughn with a three-pointer into the bullpen.
That's Brian Anderson on Brewers TV. Andrew Vaughn, a 3-run homer, bottom one in his first at-bat as a Brewer after a trade from the White Sox last month.
Oh, there it is.
Yamamoto allowed 5 runs while recording just 2 outs. His Dodgers lost 9-1. Padres third baseman Manny Machado got the 2,000th hit of his career in a 6-3 loss to Arizona last night. The Giants snuck past the Phillies 3-1. The Angels dropped the Rangers 6-5 on a game-ending bases-loaded walk. The Guardians snapped their 10-game skid 7-5 in Houston, and the Jays stayed hot, a 9th win in a row, 8-4 over the White Sox in Chicago. Toronto has a 3.5-game lead on the idle Yankees atop the AL East.
Big lake like Toronto and Cleveland, too.
The Nationals have named bench coach Miguel Cairo their interim manager after firing Dave Martinez on Sunday. The Sixers already load managing VJ Edgecombe. He sat out last night's 89-78 loss to the Thunder in the Salt Lake City Summer League. DeWanna Bonner is expected to return to the Mercury 2 weeks after her release from the Fever. Bonner played her first 10 seasons in Phoenix, winning 2 titles on the court last night. Those Mercury hammered the Wings 102-72. Alyssa Thomas 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 15 assists. And the Wimbledon quarterfinals beginning today. American Taylor Fritz right now serving for the first set against Corinne Khachanov. That match, again, 5-3 Fritz in the opening set. Guys, back to you.
Bogusch, thanks so much. Coming up, one superstar NFL tight end believes they have the secret to neutralizing Travis Hunter.
Ooh.
Get to that bit of X's and O's next. Maggie Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Amy Lawrence in her power. But wait, hold up, no seat in sight. Her chair is gone this quiet night. Odyssey's finest, infinity's pride. Now Amy's pacing, no place to slide. She scans the room, but it's just air. The burning question, who took my chair? Who stole Amy's chair? Was it Zach Gell with his innocent stare? Or Ryan Hickey with his towering hair? It's not Pete Bellotti, he's never there. Somebody fess up, who stole Amy's chair? Zach says, hey, I didn't steal, I never mess with Amy's wheels. Ryan's hair is high and proud, but he swears he's innocent, yelling out loud, I got no motive, I'm just tall. His hair almost scrapes the studio wall. But Amy's still standing, no time for lies. Someone's gonna pay, no more alibis. Who stole Amy's chair? Was it Zach Gell with his innocent stare? Or Ryan Hickey with his towering hair? It's not Pete Bellotti, he's never there. Somebody fess up, who stole Amy's chair? The chair is gone, Amy's on fire. Infinity Sports has one desire: return the throne before the show, or Amy's wrath will surely glow. Who stole Amy's chair? Zach and Ryan, do you even care? Is it hidden under Hickey's hair? Or maybe Gub's got it, he swears, I swear. It's not Pete Bellotti, he's still not there. Somebody fess up, who stole Amy's chair? So if you see a chair on the go, rolling around on some late night show called Infinity Odyssey 2, Amy's coming and she's looking for you.
One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Angie Perloff. Okay, so we've been talking a lot about Patrick Mahomes, Pearl, and his relationship with Tom Brady. Cozy one, where Brady's been giving him a lot of advice, and he's been soaking it up like a sponge. Meanwhile, Mahomes' teammate, Travis Kelce, was on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast, and he was asked about how would you attack Travis Hunter, right? Travis Hunter, Jacksonville Jaguars, Heisman Trophy winner, going to be playing both ways this year in Jacksonville. You and I talked to Jags owner Tony Khan about that yesterday, and looks like it's going to be maybe not a full workload, but pretty close to full. So here is Kelce on how teams are going to try to tire out Travis Hunter.
See, that's the thing. I don't know how they're going to divvy it out. I don't know if because teams are going to be going after him. If he plays corner, they're going to run deep balls at him all day. They're going to run the wide receivers, just take off on him all day just to try and get his him tired.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, this is going to have to be strategies, I guess, based around a rookie, which is rare. But even so, a rookie that's not a quarterback is probably even more rare. And it looks like, from Kelce's point of view, that he's going to be the focal point of trying to wear him out and get him off the field.
When I first saw this quote, I was like, well, then the Jags can just run some form of zone, right, to protect him. And I looked at a little bit, their new defense coordinator, Anthony Campanile, who comes from Green Bay. Green Bay ran more zone than anybody. So he'll just protect him with the safety. And then he can drop off, or they can protect him. I think you're right. Like, there's all sorts of ways that they can avoid that from happening, which is funny because I think Kelce would know that. So maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah, I mean, as far as that is part of it, I think what maybe the sentiment, though, is something that I think is real, which is people aren't going to go away from him. They're going to attack him, right? Is that kind of what Kelce was getting at? You have Hunter going both ways. He's playing defense. They're not going to try to avoid him. Instead, teams are going to try to go at him early in the game to try to tire him out so that he's not a factor. You're right about the zone. That's fine. I'm just thinking the sentiment of it is we're not going to avoid you. We're going to attack you.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting because he's such a freak. He never even looked like he was tired at Colorado.
I know.
And they played more snaps in a college game than an NFL game. So I wonder
at high altitude.
I'm not doubting Kelce's logic, but I feel like, Travis Hunter might be uniquely situated to handle that kind of endurance issue. And also, there is a lot of time off built into a football game. I'm not sure that's going to work as well as Kelce thought. And if they are going to go at him, I mean, if he gets some interceptions like his friend Deion Sanders, watch out. If he returns a couple to the house, are they still going to go at him?
Great question.
I mean, look at there's certain guys who just have a knack for making big plays on defense. If he shows, hey, you might beat me on a few plays, like Jalen Ramsey, who just got traded to the Steelers, he'll get beat, but he'll also make a play.
Yeah,
that'll burn you. So I don't know. I'm still excited to see it. It's interesting, but Kelce actually sat there and thought that out. That's funny.
Are you more interested in can he make the bigger impact though on defense or on offense? Because
offense.
I mean, you and I, we talked about this all leading up to the draft. It felt like some teams had him absolutely slotted in as being a no doubt corner. That's going to be the number one thing. And then like Deion, okay, a couple packages or snaps on offense. Deion had some very memorable ones, obviously, and then you had others who are saying, no, he's the best wide receiver in this draft. He's better than Ted McMillan, or that's where you use him the most.
Definitely.
Right, but it looks like the Jags are really committed to this 50-50 thing.
I would do it too.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's a smokescreen, though, because obviously, like when he gets to the NFL level, I think it's it may naturally work out where it looks like he's better suited on one side or the other. And let's not also forget the Trevor Lawrence aspect of this, which I think everyone is overlooking when it comes to Jacksonville. You have a guy you just paid so much money to, and people are wondering whether or not he's ever going to live up to that generational reputation. As much as we may like Trevor Lawrence, like no one's confusing him with John Elway right now or Andrew Luck. So having a wide receiver could be much more beneficial for your franchise quarterback than it is having a good corner out there.
I'd like to do some kind of show about it. I think he plays a lot of both. And I see no reason not to, because they're not a contender. Let's face it. They can experiment all they want this year. Nobody's expecting the Jaguars to win the AFC. I mean,
okay, I agree with you, and I know they're still young in their development, but again, you are paying Trevor Lawrence. So don't you want to start getting some return on that? I mean, he's a guy who has such a good pedigree. He should be a playoff caliber quarterback.
You just had the number 5 pick in the draft. You're definitely rebuilding and resetting. Also, they already have a great receiver in Brian Thomas. Like, I think that they have plenty of room to screw around here with Travis Hunter. If I'm going to play him on defense, I'm going to make sure he is freelancing, for lack of a better term, like Deion. Watch a game with Deion. Deion might shut you down, but he might come off the ball and be dangerous. If he thinks the quarterback's under pressure, he might move to the middle of the field and get a pick. Or like Ed Reed, like the great defensive players play on instinct. I think he's going to be a menace on both sides eventually. But I think you're way more dubious that this is going to work.
I mean, I've always been a little dubious of it, but you're right, because they play more snaps in college, but I think the physicality of what he's going to be facing on both sides of the ball, even though I know it's the NFL and everything's just like all watered down because it doesn't look like the 80s, but it still is a more physical game than the Big 12.
I would hope, tell him not to tackle anybody on running plays.
Yeah.
He will get in there and mix it up, though. And he's not particularly small for a DB either. So that you got to tell him, if there's a running play, God forbid, I don't know if they play the Ravens. If Derrick Henry's coming at you, you just don't get involved. Right? I mean, is that fair to say?
Not get involved.
Watch Deion. Watch old footage of Deion. That's how you don't get involved.
Some more NFL. You're welcome to weigh in on Travis Hunter, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Do you agree? Travis Kelce says you're just going to go at him, try to tire him out, and that's going to be the strategy for a lot of teams, or that's what a strategy. EJ sending us this note that Quarterback 2 was released today. So, Pearl, that's the Netflix, like Peyton Manning produced quarterback show. They did wide receivers one year. They did quarterbacks one year. So they're doing Quarterback 2. Kirk Cousins is in it again. He was in the first one. He's now in the second one. According to Josh Kendall of The Athletic, Kirk Cousins says on the drafting of Michael Penix, it felt like I'd been a little bit misled, or certainly if I'd had the information around free agency, it would have affected my decision. I had no reason to leave Minnesota as much as we loved it there if both teams were drafting a quarterback high.
Are you fond of that?
Is this going to end up being an all-time bad decision from Kirk Cousins, where if he could have stayed in Minnesota and, continued on a playoff contender as opposed to going to Atlanta, which we think should be a playoff contender in that division, but has not been?
100% a terrible decision. Listen, we can go back to, I thought the Vikings were idiotic when they let my guy Case Keenum go and then brought in Kirk Cousins and fell off. Like, listen, all these decisions were wrong. People should stay. I get why he did it, because he wanted to start, but he clearly would have started last year. Even if J.J. McCarthy hadn't gotten hurt, it was Kirk Cousins' job. I think he should have done one more year in Minnesota, and I said it at the time, too.
Yeah, see, I think this whole thing makes Kirk Cousins look bad. Kirk Cousins, who I know he was a late-round pick, and maybe his career is like a bit of a surprise to everybody with how long he's been a starter, but he ducked it. He got the sense, and the team gave him the sense, hey, we're going to take a quarterback high, and he was like on the first, plane out of town. He did not want to compete. Maybe he didn't feel like the competition would be real and that would be stacked against him. I don't know. But he didn't want to stick his ground at all. He just didn't want to be in a quarterback competition. He wants the job handed to him, even though he's well past 30. And I just think it makes him look like, well, he wanted this cushy situation where everything was going to be served up on the silver platter. And then it got, everything got turned upside down with the Penix pick. And while I didn't think Atlanta, I thought it was ridiculous to pay Cousins and then pick Penix that high. The process on this, whether the result ends up being good or not, the process was always flawed. But Cousins, I think, looks bad here.
I don't know if he looks bad per se. I think he made a mistake. Is making a mistake make you look bad? Like what? You're saying he ducked the smoke. It was a
choice. A mistake sometimes can be, no fault of your own. Like I think made the choice. I don't want to compete in a sport where competition happens at every position. Like,
yeah,
you're the starting linebacker for a team. They draft another linebacker. Like you don't leave.
But
you
quarterback's not all about a straight competition. There's other factors that come into it. Like they might have played J.J. McCarthy even if he got slaughtered in training camp.
888-710-4ISN. Lots more to do, including who is the most improved college football team this offseason.
The big thrill is back with that busted on tone. Talking chronos like you carved it in stone. Facts don't matter, yeah, we figured that out. You're the mayor of nonsense for running your mouth. Quoting myths with a fifth grade twist, making Manny's hat look like a psychic switch. Trying to be deep, but it's just hot air. You're the human version of Amy's lost chair. Loafing myths with a fifth grade twist, making Manny's hat look like a psychic switch. Trying to be deep, but it's just hot air. You're the human version of Amy's lost chair. Hell, another big friend is calling, and Belani's not. Beat shift was today, but guess what he forgot? Amy's seats missing, still no one knows. And ship dreams, yeah, that ship never goes. It's a 3-race circus with no damn net, just static lies and unpaid bets. Belotti's ghosting like he's on the lam. Last seen running from a V-Mix jam. And Friendly thinks he's hosting the show, but the man can't count to 3 in a row. Meanwhile, Chef's staring into that lens, waiting on YouTube like it's making amends. But let's be real, it ain't ever gonna stream. Just like Friendly making sense, that's a dream. The studio's cursed, but not by the gods. Just a caller it takes that defy all odds. Amy's still standing, looking around for a chat advantage like Pete from the sound. Another big friend is talking with no clue in sight. Ship stuck in preview and Belotti took flight. Man, he's had spinning from the myth abuse, while Amy files a claim for share misuse. The callers are crying, the host lost hope, and Big Friendly's driving this downhill slope. So here's the deal, take your Chronos and run back to whatever cave you crawled from. Sun, no fax, no screen, no seat, no peep, just one big flop on a country beat. The callers are crying, the host lost hope, and Big Friendly's driving this downhill slope. So here's the deal, take your Chronos and run back to whatever cave you crawled from, son. No fax, no stream, no seat, no peep, just one big flop on a country beat. The callers are crying, the host lost hope, and Big Friendly's driving this downhill slope. The Big Friendly's back with that busted on tone, talking Chronos like he carved it in stone. Facts don't matter, yeah, we figured that out. You're the mayor of nonsense for running your mouth. Quoting myths with a 5th grade twist, making Manny's hat look like a born in the summer of '94, Zach Kelce came to play. From Philly to the airwaves, making noise every day. Temple's pride on whip, sports director in the booth, and turned a '94 whip. Larry sharpened up his truth from the Jersey air on Fox Sports 90/20 to Eagles post games, making Mondays funny. Late nights on CBS, the Mad Dog in the mix. Now he's prime time 3 to 6. From the Jersey air on Fox Sports 90/30 to Eagles post games, making Mondays funny. Late nights on CBS and Mad Dog in the mix. Now he's prime time 3 to 6. Oh, Zach jumps on the air, turn the dial up loud. Sports Talk legend in the making, making Daddy Bob proud. CBS Sports Radio every afternoon.
30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Which college football team had the best offseason? Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Bro, believe it or not, the media days are going to start here today. The Big 12 gets underway. And then the ACC, SEC, all of them are going to be talking up how great their football teams are, but we're here to separate some fact from fiction. So if I asked you who had the best offseason for any college football team, who's your pick?
Oh, so that's implying a transfer or something, or bringing in new guys. I think the biggest jump, or the team that I'm watching to jump this year, has none of that.
Okay.
It's not because of their transfers. It's not because they have a new coach. They have the same coach who people have been getting expected to be fired for some time right now. I am really watching the Florida Gators because I think they have arguably, I don't want to say the best quarterback in the country, but DJ Lagway is right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he is just watching him play at the end of last year. He just seems like a winning quarterback. Now, Florida's schedule is brutal, and I have questions about Billy Napier, but I think just DJ Lagway being a year older and being healthy and really putting this team under his wing as the unquestioned starter, I think this is going to be one of those teams and one of those quarterbacks who is going to be much better than people think.
So you think Lagway definitely Heisman Trophy candidate, all the things?
Yes, and it's not just that too. I think he's one of those college quarterbacks who just wins because he's that good. There are a lot of talented quarterbacks. We all know about that. For example, Caleb Williams, I think his record, team record, never reflected his talent level. I think DJ Lagway is going to put this team on his shoulders. And again, I know they have very, very tough games ahead of them. And they were not going to be perfect, but I think he's going to make a lot of noise this year. So I'm watching the Gators.
Well, you don't have to be perfect anymore, not in college football.
Well, with the 12-team playoff, they're in play. But again, they listen, the SEC is tough. There's just no doubt about it. I think they play your Canes too, right, this year?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so I'm counting on Miami being a little down this year. Sorry, EJ, because Cam Ward's gone. I've been trying to get my guy. I'm just a fan. I think he's gonna be really good. I think they actually, for the first time in a long time, feel like a relevant college football program. Are they improved? Yes, because last year was especially the beginning of the year was a mess. So I think they're going to be solid from get-go here.
Yeah, I mean, Lagway kind of saved Napier, right? I mean, he got healthier.
Yeah.
They started to win, and they're so tied. Like, if, Lagway could have left, he probably would have been, the biggest quarterback to jump in the portal. And he stayed because he's Billy Napier's guy. So, in a lot of ways, that was obviously an amazing thing for Napier.
And just recruiting him was a savior to start, too.
Yeah. If you're asking me who had the best offseason, I'm not going to go to the SEC. I'm going to go to Texas Tech. Guys, it's the NIL era, okay? This is all about the do-re-mi. And Texas Tech is spending all types of money. Now, you can say, Maggie, well, Texas A&M spent all types of money. But I like the way that Texas Tech spent their money. Defense. I know it's nothing we associate with Texas Tech. But I love the fact that they actually have a new defensive coordinator. Joey McGuire brought in the guy who was Troy's defense coordinator when they won the Sun Belt and then last year spent time at Houston. Good defense for a team that finished 121st nationally in defensive ranking. I think they're going to get a major boost because they basically put all their money or a lot of their money into that defense. That defensive line may be the best in the country. One of them, which is crazy again about Texas Tech. And they have a quarterback in Morton who's 23. He's a redshirt senior, Pearl. This guy's like, I think at some point when you play college football for so long, you're just a grown man and everyone else is still developing at 23 years old. So I like Texas Tech. They, again, more money than God there with Cody Campbell as the billionaire backer for what they're trying to do. And if you're talking about improved off seasons and a winnable conference, Texas Tech.
Gosh, I mean, do they play anybody? Do they have to be perfect?
I have their schedule.
Play? Yeah,
well, nobody has to be perfect anymore. You win the Big 12 title, you're in.
But everyone in the Big 12 kind of has an easy schedule. So why are they over like in Arizona State?
Well, they play Arizona State. So that's at Arizona State. That's Saturday, October 18th. No, they're scheduled they're playing the big hitters here in the Big 12. So they're non-conference. Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Kent State, but then Oregon State, at Utah, at Houston, home Kansas, at Arizona, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, BYU, UCF, at West Virginia now with Rich Rodriguez. Yeah, they're going to be tested. But again, this is a new influx of talent on the side of the ball. They desperately needed it.
Gosh, I love it. Yeah. I had not honestly thought about Texas Tech in the picture in any way. Because, the last time I think Texas Tech was in the picture was what? Never?
Graham Harrell, baby.
Yeah, Graham Harrell. But I guess on the show.
Even that team, though, they
Wait,
when they had Mahomes, they've never competed for anything.
You saw, obviously, they made a huge splash. This is for the class of 2026, where they got the 5-star offensive tackle. Did you see that?
Honestly.
$5 million. But now, is it really $5 million? That's always going to be the question with these NIL deals.
And who cares about a incoming freshman?
No, and he's class of 2026. I'm saying Texas Tech has been in the news because of all the money they've been flashing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it works out. I'm dubious about that program. Yeah, they could be good. Listen, they have Patrick Mahomes at a losing record. They're always going to be pinned behind the other Texas schools.
Maybe that's changing.
They always have been, obviously.
Maybe that's changing now.
I don't know.
Well, listen, I don't think they're taking on Texas. Like, they're not going to start challenging the Longhorns right away, but why not? They've got don't they have as much money as SMU? They've got as much money as maybe not A&M.
SMU is going to be awesome this year. No, I don't think they have as much money as Texas or Texas A&M.
Well, we're right there.
I don't think so. A&M is like the monster.
I know that A&M is the monster, but I think you're underestimating just how much of an influx that Cody Campbell has put in this program.
Do you think Texas Tech can recruit and pay with A&M and Texas? You might be right. Yeah, I don't think ever. Because it's in Lubbock.
Well, who cares? It's college football. It's not. I think that the city for college football, it's a great atmosphere. This isn't like Kevin Durant didn't want to go to Minnesota because it's cold. I don't think kids think about that with college, or else the best program would be Pepperdine or something if it was all about location.
Well, I just think that, listen, Texas is very competitive for recruits. And I think if the money is the same, I think everybody would go to UT or A&M first.
Well, it depends, though, because sometimes you don't want to be stacked behind, another 5-star or something like that. You want to play.
Then how come Tech has never been competitive?
Because they have never been able to use their money. They haven't been able to use their money to this competitive advantage for a long enough sample size.
Yeah. I mean, could be. Yeah. I like it. I think the Big 12 is wide open, so that they could be in the playoff for sure. But that being said, like, they'd be in the playoff, right? And what would happen?
I don't know. I mean, Arizona State gave us the best game of that first opening round.
I know.
What, lose to an SEC school?
Big 12 team is not going far in that Big 12 and that 12-team playoff.
I don't know. Did you see what was the story that the Big 12 is not going to put out a preseason poll? Were you telling me about this?
Yeah, because they're worried about the perception because nobody took Arizona State or BYU seriously last year.
I think it's kind of smart.
But the actual reality is those other conferences are better, in part because they play better teams throughout the season too. Like, look at Tech's schedule is obviously not exactly what Alabama and Georgia are facing.
I understand, but we're talking about how NIL is really going to change college football.
Right, like SMU last year.
Isn't it parity? Isn't it because now teams, because you can pay guys like above board, that, you can have teams like in the Big 12 who can be more competitive than they may have been in the past?
Definitely. But what the defining characteristic of last year was strength of schedule was ignored in picking a 12-team playoff. And therefore, as you'd expect, you had totally lopsided games.
Right.
Like favorites covered all over that thing. Right. I honestly don't, this is going to sound anti-Big 12, but I don't expect whoever wins the Big 12 to make any noise in the playoff. I think that's a safe assumption.
I think it's too early to tell that. 888-710-4ISN.
You think like any of these teams are going to beat Ohio State in the 12-team playoff?
Well, Ohio State, it was a shock that Ohio State even won the whole thing last year. I mean, after they lost to Michigan, did anyone think that Ohio State was winning the college football championship? No way.
No, but I mean, they were obviously going to be big favorites over one of the lesser conferences in the opening round matchup. But I think
Arizona State gave Texas a hell of a game.
I know, and Tennessee fans basically took over the horseshoe because nobody in Ohio State thought that they were going to win that game.
Were they favored in that game?
But I think that was one of the lower spreads, A, and 2, to ask Ohio State fans how they felt going into that game. You recall that, right?
I threw up.
Well, I'm just saying, if you want to do a show bet, does the Big 12 reach the Final Four? I will say no. And I feel pretty good about that.
Let me think about it. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. See you guys on the phones. Hang on one second because we are excited to have Christine Brennan, who's scheduled to join us in the next segment. She's written a new book about Caitlin Clark called On Her Game. Christine Brennan is one of the great sports writers in our country and a New York Times bestselling author of multiple books. So we will get to Christine and all of the controversy surrounding Caitlin Clark. We will do that next. It's Maggie Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break.
The big real is back with that busted old tone. Talking chronos like you carved it in stone. Facts don't matter, yeah, we figured that out. You're the mayor of nonsense for running your mouth. Quoting myths with a 5th grade twist, making Manny's hat look like a psychic's wish. Trying to be deep, but it's just hot air. You're the human version of Amy's lost chair. Loading myths with a 5th grade twist, making Manny's hat look like a psychic's wish. Trying to be deep, but it's just hot air. You're the human version of Amy's lost chair. Another fake friend is calling, and Belotti's not. Beat shift was today, but guess what he forgot? Amy's seats missing, still no one knows. And ship's dreams, yeah, that ship never goes. It's a 3-race circus with no damn net, just static lies and unpaid bets. Belotti's ghosting like he's on the lam. Last seen running from a V-Mix jam. And Friendly thinks he's hosting the show, but the man can't count to 3 in a row. Meanwhile, Chef's staring into that lens, waiting on YouTube like it's making amends. But let's be real, it ain't ever gonna stream. Just like Friendly making sense, that's a dream. The studio's cursed, but not by the gods. Just a caller it takes that defy all odds. Amy's still standing, looking around for a chat advantage like Pete from the sound. Another big friend is talking with no clue in sight. Ship stuck in preview and Belotti took flight. Manny's hat spinning from the myth abuse, while Amy files a claim for chair misuse. The callers are crying, the host lost hope, and Big Friendly's driving this downhill slope. So here's the deal, take your Chronos and run back to whatever cave you crawled from, son. No facts, no screen, no seat, no peak, just one big flop on a country beat. The callers are crying, the host lost hope, and Big Friendly's driving this downhill slope. So here's the deal, take your Chronos and run back to whatever cave you crawled from, son. No facts, no stream, no seat, no peak, just one big flop on a country beat. The callers are crying, the host lost hope, and Big Friendly's driving this downhill slope.
One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
She's become one of the more polarizing athletes of our time and also one of the most exciting, and that is Caitlin Clark. New book called On Her Game is written by Christine Brennan. Of course, she is the best-selling author and award-winning sports journalist and columnist, and she is good enough to join us now. Christine, it's Maggie and Perloff. Thank you so much, and congratulations on the new book.
Well, thanks, guys. Maggie, so good to see you again. It's been way too long. Andrew, great to see you as well. If I call you, can we be on a first name basis?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Just McLovin, really, to most people. But Christine, again, thank you. And it's great to see you, too. So you want to tackle the all-encompassing story that is Caitlin Clark, which is really, really tough to do because it basically touches every part of society almost. Let's start with her as the athlete. You know, it seems like stars generally get this kind of treatment, right? Like even Michael Jordan had Isaiah Thomas, who was always coming at him. And, you know, you always have like maybe a tough adjustment to the pro leagues. How has Caitlin's transition from college to pro been different than any of those other big stars?
Yeah, it's a great question. You know, Caitlin Clark is, of course, a basketball player, first and foremost, but she's really an entertainer, right? Those logo threes, you know, chucking it from the parking lot, it goes in. That's what brings grandmothers to the TV, right? Just like Tiger Woods, when they would rearrange, you know, grandmothers would rearrange their Sunday afternoons around Tiger's tea time at the Masters. You know, that singular athlete. So she's different that way. And I think a lot of people in the WNBA world don't quite understand that. You know, it's what she's doing, those passes, it's the high wire act at the circus. And so there's that. Now, you're absolutely right. And I have been the first to say, when she and J.C. Shelton are going at it, that goes back to Ohio State and Iowa, right? If you know the game, you know what they're doing. There's going to be pushing, shoving. Caitlin Clark gives it as good as she takes it. I mean, she's tough. She's feisty. She loves to, you know, get the crowd going, and people love her for that. I asked her about that. She's quoted, of course, extensively on the book on everything. I had 40, 50 questions. Nothing was off limits. She's honest, truthful, looks you in the eye, goes on and on. She's a terrific interview, 22 going on 40 or 50, as I said. So there's that. The difference, as you alluded to, that, yes, the NBA needed Michael Jordan, but the NBA had already had Wilt and Bill Russell. They had success. They had sponsors. They had a national audience, and they transcended sports in some way. Tiger Woods, huge rise from where men's golf was before, but they're Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, going back to Sam Snead, Byron Nelson. Again, the sponsors were there, the car companies, the financial companies. It had already reached quite a plateau. The WNBA, I covered it for years. I tried to have people care, others of us, of course, and it just didn't resonate. And so now you've got Caitlin Clark showing up. She's not only a great player and a feisty competitor, she's also your economic rocket fuel. And we know this now from when she was injured last time, those 5 games the first time. When she was gone, the WNBA, more than half of its TV audience literally disappeared with her. So that's where you start to say, is that smart to try to plow into and maybe injure someone who is actually linked to your financial future in a way no other league and sport has ever had quite to that degree?
Go back a step to Iowa, and she had ratings that we've never seen for women's college basketball and even for men's college basketball. How could the WNBA not see exactly what was coming? Not just the players, but the league as well. I would think it was obvious that you had to be primed for that. What was the resistance?
Yeah, it was to me, I mean, a barnstorming athlete, right? People standing out in line outside of, huge arenas at Ohio State, the University of Maryland, at Michigan in the cold January, February, like it was a Springsteen concert or a Taylor Swift concert, and it's for a woman's basketball player. I can't even believe I said that sentence to you right now, right? It just never happened in this country. I do detail this in the book, and I try to explain it through an anecdote. I was talking right after Caitlin Clark announced for the draft, so end of February and early March of 2024, talking to a WNBA official. I do not name the official. It's real. It happened. And they asked not to be named. And I said, you realize how big a deal this is? And this WNBA official said, yeah, this is probably the biggest thing to happen to the WNBA since Maya Moore. And I say in the book, well, that was a surprising answer. Not because Maya Moore was great, and she deserved to be a household name around the country, not just in UConn and Minnesota where she played, but she wasn't. We're realists. Reality's reality. I wish she had. I wish so many of these players, especially Black women, a 74% Black league, I wish they had risen to the Caitlin Clark level. They didn't. And so for the WNBA, it's official to think, oh, well, now we're going to have another Maya Moore. It shows you how utterly unprepared they were for the moment. Why? In the book, I don't speculate. I put some questions, but if I don't know it, if I couldn't report it, I don't write it as a journalist, obviously. So what I do there is I say, is it possible? And this is one I think it might be, because they've been so short shrift for whatever, from our male-dominated mainstream sports media, which we three are in. Here it's definitely female-dominated, right? 2-1, Maggie, we got him.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying, that no one paid attention. So maybe they just couldn't believe that this could finally happen to them. Whatever it was, the lack of preparation is stunning. The Black players, you could understand this could, with a white woman company, like, this is America. We're polarized. And I've got great voices like Dr. Harry Edwards, the wonderful civil rights leader, Brianna Scurry, the goalkeeper from the 99 women's soccer team. Not just my voice, white suburban woman from the suburbs of Toledo. No, I'm having wonderful voices, Black and white, talk through this and try to explain what could have been done in terms of helping seminars, talking to players, and understanding the concerns of a 74% Black league, always ignored, now having a white superstar, and now everyone cares.
Christine Brennan's joining us. She's got a new book about Caitlin Clark and the revolution of women's sports. It's called On Her Game. It's available now. So what did those great thinkers, what did they say? Because you also outline in the book where you're on a panel and you ask with distinguished sports writers and athletes and coaches and saying, how would the story be different if Caitlin Clark were Black? Like, what were the answers there? What do you think is the answer to that question?
Yeah, and there were great answers. I don't detail them all just because obviously it was more of a teaser in the intro, but for sure I wanted to make sure that point. And I'm the moderator. I asked that question early on because it's an obvious question. And clearly we are a racially polarized society. This is not a news flash.
Right.
We've all seen the election. We all seen this. This is not I have lots of thoughts as an American, but as a journalist, I stay in my sports and culture lane. But you could see that there'd be racist. People are racist.
Yeah.
Certainly social media, Maggie, and you and I, we all three of us, we get it, right? We get pounded. I get pounded. I think women get it worse than men on X. It's a cesspool, right? But it's also where we get a lot of news and we can break news. So I use it still. But it's men, women get it worse than men, and then Black women for sure get it worse than white women, of course. And so these are issues I would have won. And the Fever did this, the Indiana Fever, because of all the hatred of Caitlin haters going after Caitlin and her family. All the other haters, whether they be racist or just nasty people, going against Aaliyah Boston for missing a layup or fumbling a pass from Caitlin Clark, whatever it might be. Fever got everyone off of social media. So first of all, why didn't that happen? Just an encouragement. It's not a rule. But that could have calmed it down because, of course, Tiger Woods, when he was in a similar but not similar situation, but in some ways, there was no social media back when Tiger was rising in the mid to late 90s. So what would that have looked like with Tiger? And we know what it probably looked like. So there's a lot of things that could have been. Leaders need to lead, you guys. Leaders need to recognize it. WNBA, NBA. I broke that charter story. I made a call 3 days before I saw the pictures of Caitlin Clark going through baggage claim with just, Fever security, just the unbelievable roll of the dice with her security. They'd never let LeBron do that or Patrick Mahomes or any, whatever. And so within 3 days, I got a call back and I was breaking the news that there were charter flights.
Wow.
How was this not being attended to before? Those are certainly the questions I ask in the book.
Yeah.
Christine, we had a really interesting conversation here yesterday. Our executive producer, EJ Stewart, and Maggie and I, we're talking about the development of the NBA in the 80s had there's certainly a racial dynamic. Bird versus Magic, then Isaiah and Rodman saying that Bird would not be viewed the same way if he was a Black player. But then it became Jordan, it seemed much more about the basketball and less about social political divisions. Is it possible that this is a stage in the WNBA where there might be people who have interest in it because of social political differences, and then it becomes more about the basketball as the league develops, or am I being naive?
Well, that's a great thought, because at the end of the day, there's nothing about what I'm saying is making me happy, right? I mean, I'm a journalist, I report it, so I'm happy to report it, but I'm not happy as an American, as someone who has fought for the coverage of women's sports for over 40 years in my career. And of course, I've covered more men's sports than women's sports, but yeah, there's no joy in this. I think we will see that. And, that's a great point. I should actually make sure to talk about it on other shows too. You guys are really the first on Pub Day. Did a quick local one in Toledo, Ohio, but you were the first one scheduled. So I can't thank you enough. Our friend Meredith Geisler did that, and really appreciate you guys being the first kicking this all off. But look at the way Paige Bueckers talks about Caitlin Clark. And Paige is a great player, but she can't sell out her 7,000 seat arena in Dallas. Right? So we need reality here. And Paige understands that. She knows how big a deal Caitlin Clark is. Whereas some of the players in their 30s who've had these small crowds, you can understand that might be a little tougher, whether they're black or white, right? I mean, Taurasi went after Caitlin Clark in very unflattering and completely incorrect terms. Brianna Stewart had to kick her in the shins in comments at the Women's Final Four. I have all that in the book. It wasn't just black players. When they move along, when they maybe age out, whenever that is, hope they have long careers. Well, you're going to get a whole different group of young people who look at Caitlin Clark and understand the magnitude because they played against her, they respect her, and she's not intruding in their world. It's all their peers now. So I think you're right. I think it will move through. Also, the economic, as Caitlin Clark is missing, as someone's plowing into her, like Marina Mabry did a while ago, well, you're bargaining with the owners. And Caitlin Clark is the best thing you have. If you don't have Caitlin Clark, the owners can literally say, you lost more than 50% of your viewership when Caitlin Clark was injured. Well, what player wants to go in and so, yeah, we're happy about that we just lost over half of our viewers. And it was the league, not just the Fever, in those 5 games. I mean, you would never bargain that way. So hopefully someone is talking to the players, and the players are talking to each other. They're smart women. They're not damsels in distress, and literally saying, okay, let's use Caitlin Clark, understand that she is it, and let's start to deal with it while you guard her, of course, while you play her tough. Caitlin Clark gives it out as well as she takes it. She wants to be played tough. So she's feisty and strong, and she's has the gamesmanship as well, and people love her for it. So I think there's a balance there. I think you hit on it, and I think that's a great point.
Christine, we got to leave it there. We know that this is such a busy day for you, and a great day because your book is published. It's Pub Day. On Her Game is the name of it. We cannot recommend it more. It's about Caitlin Clark and the revolution in women's sports. And on a personal note, Christine, thank you, because if you mail it in any day of your life, I'm not sitting here, and a lot of women owe you a debt of gratitude. So thank you very much.
Maggie, thank you. Andrew, thanks so much. Really enjoyed it. Have a great day.
Congratulations on the book. Really, really good stuff. And it's tough. Like, it's got everything, the Caitlin Clark story, which is why we're fascinated. But I love what Christine says, and you've said this too in a different way. You're like, it's about her style of play that brought everyone. And what Christine, underscores, she's box office. That's the biggest thing. She's an entertainer. And I think we lose that sometimes because this story has so many tentacles. You start talking about women and versus men's sports, talk about race, you talk about all these things. She's just so freaking interesting to watch.
Well, yeah, that's what I've wondered too. Her style being so far from the basket. The funny thing is, people will emulate that, and you're going to. I think you're probably already seeing it, where young women's players are now trying to be Caitlin, kind of like what did happen in the NBA.
Yeah, right.
Steph Curry came along, and now everybody's shooting from the logo. No one as well as Curry, so maybe no one as well as Clark. You know who I actually feel bad for in this discussion?
Who?
Andrew Bogusch, who's sitting here. There's no way. How are you going to live up to Christine Brennan? She's so logical and thought through. And like, even I was like, but did you hear her say that she was going to steal my question? And I mean, did everyone hear that? I want a Hall of Famer basically said that was a smart question, Andrew Perloff.
No,
putting that on my reel.
You got a gold star from Christine Brennan.
I got a gold. I know. But it is. She really laid out that the WNBA was not ready for Caitlin Clark. And because I had heard that before, but I wondered how much it was reality. It seems like she reported it well.
Yeah, and she's talking about like the powers that be in the WNBA. Like the executives didn't understand what was coming. And also
and
the players as well, but even that the executives kind of didn't understand what they had, which is kind of crazy, right? I mean, we were watching it in college.
I mean, I think what she said was the WNBA just thought this was their world, where Maya Moore was the biggest star. They didn't understand that it was possible to cross over into the mainstream like this. They had almost given up on the idea. It's the way Christine described it.
To be fair, we did ask this question after, when she was playing like in the Final Four and in the championship game. Will this continue in the WNBA? We did ask that.
Yeah, no, definitely. It wasn't a guarantee because women's college basketball, I think, does bigger numbers.
Yeah.
It's in a way a bigger sport. It lasts a lot longer through the season. It's been around a lot longer. So
one thing in Christine's book, and Bogusch, we'll get to you, in just one moment, but I'd love everyone's thoughts on this. So one thing is someone from the WNBA, an official, said that when Christine actually is in the book a little bit because she has a back and forth with Dejanay Carrington after game 1 of the opening round of the playoffs with the Fever versus the Connecticut Sun. And the official tells Brennan in the book, the questions were fine, and this is the quote, "Unfortunately, most of our players have zero idea what real media exposure is. They don't know what real coverage is. They've been shielded at college, and they come to the WNBA not knowing what real questions are. Frankly, our players just don't get it." And if we had a little more time, I could ask Christine this question. Like, are the players really that shielded maybe from traditional media asking them tough questions, but certainly not from social media? I mean, certainly athletes and young athletes today are getting more criticism coming from more places than ever before, no?
Yeah, but that's social media criticism. That's ridiculousness.
Okay,
that's nothing like answering a question from a journalist.
Right, but I think for young people, social media is media more than traditional media is media, right?
You need that weirdo on Instagram that's media?
Listen, even Kevin Durant, someone who you think would know the difference, even he can't help but clap back at the haters. LeBron James goes back at the haters. These are guys who are men who are clearly like way in the spotlight, even more maybe than any women's basketball player, and they have trouble managing social media. So they have no sympathy for men. They have been exposed to criticism.
Being exposed to comments on Instagram is not like being exposed to I'll say the mainstream media. I think it's a totally different lane in a way.
I saw Gary Cohen, the broadcaster for the Mets, made an interesting point years ago, and this was, I think, during the Mets had the whole thumbs down controversy, if anybody remembers that. He was saying that what he finds is it feels like young players today have a harder time understanding the difference between like what is social media criticism and like media criticism or even non-criticism, just media commentary.
Right.
And they conflate them all the same because they're consuming them all the same. Like everything they're seeing is on their phone. Everything they're seeing is on social media, whether it's a media member slamming them or it's a person DMing them. And they're having a hard time, in his opinion,
seeing the difference. I totally agree, and I don't want to say that the players aren't smart enough to understand the difference. I just think it's all the noise. And by the way, it's happened at the same time where, let's be honest, even traditional media has changed a bit, where it can be more about who's got the hottest take and who can say the opinion the strongest. And so even traditional mainstream media has changed to a degree.
Well, yeah, but it's funny in the other sports, like football, for example, players are coming in 1,000 times more media savvy. Like by the time a college quarterback gets to the NFL, it's like he could basically be in the booth. He's so good.
Well, Christine, as he wrote in the book, that she says that she thinks that's a big part of that. I don't know if she mentioned this interview, but she said that like in college, a lot of these athletes are very, sheltered, shielded. Yeah, the women's players.
But the NFL guys get so much more media experience. Like it's ridiculous. You can't know that. Like, why is this guy talking like he's a 35-year-old?
But you play at Alabama, it's like playing for an NFL team. You're dealing with media like an NFL team. So college, women's players, a lot of these times they weren't.
But UConn probably, but not the other programs?
Right. No. And I think she's right about that. I think that's fair. I think maybe it's changing now. Like maybe now it's changing but for a lot of these older players that maybe she's talking about in our conversation we just had with her. No, they didn't have, all these media members following them the way they do now. It's very different.
Also, I do think, whether I'm not trying to do there's no like victimhood here, but I think it is different for women and men on social media, and it is very different for black women and and just athletes in general.
You should see my social media feed is all I will say. The hatred on social media for everybody gets it.
I think you're right. Everyone gets it.
Everybody gets it.
I don't want to do the who's got it worse thing.
I'm sure for women and black women it's far, far worse. I have no doubt about that. But I do think, like, if I took my social media seriously, I would have hung myself 15 years ago.
Well, I think that's why, like, people get a little defensive and sensitive and all of that stuff, because they're seeing it and they can't help themselves from seeing it. Just like you and I check our mentions every now and then, and it feels awful.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's also on the players to get used to that to some extent. It's easy for me to say because I can't imagine what Angel Reese sees in her comments. I'll be totally honest, but like,
and her and Caitlin both had in-person things. Remember, somebody was like came up to Angel. There was Caitlin had a stalker.
Yes, I mean, listen. There's in the background. There's women's tennis on the background, and we all
Monica Seles,
we all know what happened with Monica Seles. Yes, athletes face a lot of crazy people out there, and I do think that they should be really careful about social media.
I'm sorry for all the mean things I tweeted at you guys when I was angry.
But man, your Twitter feed is insane.
Thank you.
You are a hater with a capital H.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm very proud of it.
But you're not cruel. You're not cruel.
Only the people you know.
I
don't think you're cruel to strangers.
I trolled EJ last night at like 12:30.
I saw that this morning. I was like, you jerk.
He tweeted within this show, I bleep and hate Tom Brady.
I didn't throw a curse. I just said I hate him.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Because he dates Sydney Sweeney and you don't.
Yeah. Right. And Sofia Vergara, evidently. I hate him.
Bogusch has headlines.
Don't forget Kate Hudson, and then there's another model he's been linked to the last 2
Brooks Nader. I know too much about this.
We all do. Somebody else, too.
I bet you knew that name.
Arena Shake.
No. That's
Bradley Cooper's.
No, that's a while
They were
ago.
dating.
Yeah, but that was like last year.
No, but he's been on fire. So around Fanatics
She's
Fest,
the most beautiful person I've ever seen in person. Arena Shake.
When was Brooks Nader? I have not heard that name. Is that this week?
Do your research.
Google, baby.
And not to dismiss Tom's allure, but are we really assuming that any woman he's next to, he's about to bed?
If she had it her way.
No, so Brooks
Remember
Nader
what Nikki Glazer said about him at the roast? A lottery ticket, Bogusch. A lottery ticket.
Yeah. Brooks Nader was old. You have no idea. He's dated 4 supermodels in the last 7 days. It's crazy. He is going from supermodel dinner to supermodel dinner.
Stop. You're going to make Manny tweet more mean things at him.
But
right, well.
How's Buffalo going, Manny?
Thanks.
I would, of course, my wife
like
is
Cheerios.
I would go with Sofia Vergara.
Who was that?
Sofia Vergara.
Not her.
Joe Manganiello's ex. I would go with her over Sydney Sweeney. I'm going to tell you right now.
Listen, I don't discriminate.
Because you can't. Sorry.
I mean, what did Tom Brady...
Just happy to be here.
What are Tom Brady and Sydney Sweeney really talking about? Can we be honest here?
What's the age
Two
gap
deep
there,
safeties.
guys?
Why the safeties just keep going back in coverage?
She's a big Belichick girl.
Well, about the same age range as his
She's
girl.
27 and he's 50?
47?
Yeah, I don't like that.
20 years.
I mean, and Sofia Vergara.
Muy bien.
How old is she? She's like 40-something, right?
She's age appropriate.
Yeah, she's age appropriate. But this is still, Belichick still got 20 years on a 20-year gap.
I mean, that's a whole different conversation.
Not as fun.
Oh, Sofia Vergara's 52.
Wow, cougar.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, sure.
I mean, she's one of the all-time most gorgeous women to ever walk.
Yeah, and I speak the same language as her, so I mean, match made in heaven.
There's select women that just will never age. Selma Hayek, Halle Berry, Sofia Vergara, they're all in that
There's your Mount Olympus right there.
Class there.
Mm-hmm.
Halle Berry had a social media post this week that has hit a lot of people's feeds.
She's wild on social media.
She's crazy.
Does she own clothes?
There was one where she was talking about like some male enhancement drug with her man was in the bed with her. I'm like, what am I watching?
Time to follow Halle Berry.
You should.
And follow. Thank you very much.
I thought this was a Safe X feed. I was like, what is Halle Berry talking about right now?
Wow.
Manny, she played Catwoman at one point.
Meow.
Bogues, what do you got?
Oh, sure. Baseball's hottest team stayed hot last night. The coldest team finally won again. The Blue Jays pushing their win streak to 9 in Chicago.
First pitch to Joey Loperfido, bounced through the right side and into right field. Coming home, Kirk. Right behind him, Straw. Around to third goes Ernie Clement. 2 knocked in by Loperfido. It's 7-1.
That's Blue Jays radio. Joey Loperfido also had a solo homer in this 8-4 decision over the White Sox Toronto has won 27 of its last 37 games. Their 53 wins overall, tie for the most in franchise history before the All-Star break.
I don't like it.
The Guardians, meanwhile, hadn't won since June 25th against those Jays, by the way.
Swung on, line to third, off the glove of Paredes. Down the left field line, it'll roll to the corner. In to score, Martinez. Coming home, Naylor. Throw to the plate, head first slide, safe. And a 2-run double.
A tie-breaking 2-run double from Brian Rocchio. Tom Hamilton, Guardians Radio, Cleveland of Ohio, the state of 1,000 lakes, snapping its 10-game losing streak, 7-5 in Houston. 3 hits last night for Padres third baseman Manny Machado. The middle one was the 2,000th of his career. Machado, the 17th player ever with 2,000 hits and 350 homers by the age of 33. San Diego did lose last night, 6-3 to Arizona. Ace Bailey, 18 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists in the Salt Lake Summer League. He and the Jazz beat the Grizzlies 112-111. American Taylor Fritz leads 2 sets to love. About to lose the third, though, to Corinne Khachanov in their Wimbledon quarterfinal. Women's top seed Arina Sabalenka losing her first set to Laura Siegemund. Guys, back to you.
Bogusch, thanks so much. Okay, lots more to do here. We have to, a topic we've been dying to touch on. We will get to next. Maggie Perloff.
Down goes Anderson.
You're in a 5-minute break.
The big film.
Not here.
There's a roof.
You're good.
Oh, Globe Lakes. Maggie, you didn't tell me there's a roof.
Not here.
There's a roof.
You're good.
Oh, Globe Lakes. Maggie, you didn't tell me there's a roof.
Not here.
There's a roof.
You're good.
Oh, Globe Lakes. Maggie, you didn't.
The big film's back with that busted old tone. Talking chronos like you carved it in stone. Facts don't matter. Yeah, we figured that out. You're the mayor of nonsense for running your mouth. Quoting myths with a 5th grade twist, making Manny's hat look like a psychic's wish. Trying to be deep, but it's just hot air. You're the human version of Amy's lost chair. Loving myths with a 5th grade twist, making Manny's hat look like a psychic's wish. Trying to be deep, but it's just hot air. You're the human version of Amy's lost chair. Hell, another big friend is calling, and Belani's not. Beat shift was today, but guess what he forgot? Amy sees myths that still no one knows. And ship stream dreams, yeah, that ship never goes. It's a 3-race circus with no damn net, just static lies and unpaid bets. Belotti's ghosting like he's on the lam. Last seen running from a V-Mix jam. And Friendly thinks he's hosting the show, but the man can't count to 3 in a row. Meanwhile, Chef's staring into that lens, waiting on YouTube like it's making amends. But let's be real, it ain't ever gonna stream. Just like Friendly making sense, that's a dream. The studio's cursed, but not by the gods. Just a caller it takes that defy all odds. Amy's still standing, looking around for a jet advantage, like Pete from the sound. Another big.
1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, the Defensive Player of the Week is brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. I feel like I'm cheating on this one because, actually, EJ picked it, not Manny. Who picked this one?
I have the answer. I know what it is.
Because Manny and I know who the real Defensive Player of the Week is. He's a goalie for Real Madrid, Thibaut Courtois, who looks like Chewbacca, Maggie. He's 7'7", and he's so much bigger than every other soccer player. He single-handedly saved the game in front of us, so I go Thibaut Courtois. What do you got?
I believe that I'm right about this one. I think EJ gave it to the Minnesota Lynx, who are 17-2. No. What's their record is amazing. They had 10 blocks in their game on Sunday against, I don't remember, but they had 10 blocks. And I think that EJ went with the Lynx as a team.
Okay, so you know I know teams, Maggie. I don't know why I keep doing this.
Yeah.
Defensive Player of the Week this week is Monique Okoye-Makani of the Phoenix Mercury. They beat the Dallas Wings last night, 102-72. Monique had 3 steals in the win, and most importantly, the defense against the backcourt, including Paige Bueckers, where she was held for 3 for 11. So that's where you're going with rookie Monique Okoye-Makani.
Is this a WNBA Defensive Player of the Week? I mean, what, 6 out of the last 7 weeks or something?
Well, listen,
no, I've done a lot of baseball recently. I did a Jackson Murray. You keep saying I do WNBA.
You do a lot of WNBA.
I think I would challenge someone to look at the last 5. I think most of them have not been WNBA.
Wait, but I have a question. So, EJ, you'll never give it to a team. So let's say a staff combines for a no-hitter.
I hate combined no-hitters.
That's pitching.
And I agree with Perloff that pitching is not defense.
Greg Maddox got the gold glove for fielding as a pitcher, not for pitching.
Exactly.
Anyway, okay. Well, and I was right. The Lynx are 17-2. Isn't that crazy?
I know, and I talked about Natasha Collier last week, and Perloff was like, "Who's that? Shut up about Natasha Collier." No,
I said that.
in that voice.
Yeah.
His efficiency wasn't good, and his field goal percentage, and blah 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 blah.
Nafisa Collier? Yeah.
All right, Nafisa. Yes.
Okay.
That's why I said, "Who's that?"
Yeah.
Think about Natasha Cloud on the Liberty, Nafisa Collier. She did mom hands during a fight, and it was really funny. And Perloff was like, "If it's not Caitlin Clark, we don't want to hear it."
That did not happen.
Well, speaking of which,
I wish we had time to pull the video.
Blah blah blah.
Speaking of which, if it wasn't Caitlin, it didn't happen. So we had Christine Brennan, who joined us earlier in the hour. She got a new book about Caitlin called On Her Game. And, you know, here's another part of the Caitlin thing that I'm curious about, Pearl, which is, so her book's called Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports, right? And we acknowledge that Caitlin is like this, what'd she say, like jet fuel in terms of like the economy of the WNBA. And they have a collective bargaining agreement that's about to expire. And they're going to have a new one. And we're curious about the Caitlin Clark effect. Is she a movement or a moment? Because,
Is she Jeremy Lin or is she LeBron?
Right. Like so much of this, the stats around Caitlin Clark, right? Christine was talking about how when she was has the groin injury earlier this season, she missed 5 games, and viewership for the whole league went down, according to USA Today.
Yeah.
Not just the Fever games. And, sometimes you have a player that does like push the league into like a whole league into a next realm. And then sometimes you just have great players who are just great players who people love. Like what is Caitlin?
Definitely pushing the whole league.
Okay.
I don't think, to my mind, there's no doubt.
But then you get the stat that the viewership of the whole league went down 5 games because she was out. I don't even know how you explain that.
Funny about that stat? Because a lot of those games were her, though, because they put all her games on. So the Fever are, I'm not sure. Right. Look at that stat again. Some of those games were Fever games.
No, some are, but it wasn't just Fever games where the viewership went down. I don't know how to explain that.
But, I mean, what really hurt them, because I know a lot of those, they put the Fever in primetime a lot. So a lot of the primetime games were gutted because Caitlin was there. I just think and one thing I think you and I, and maybe EJ too, have the show argument that it's about Paige Bueckers and I think the next star is, in my mind, not Paige Bueckers. I still think it's Juju Watkins.
You mean the next rival for Caitlin or the next star of the league?
The next star, the next needle mover, I think, is Juju Watkins because she's a very entertaining player.
Yep.
So I get back to the reason Caitlin and Christine, I think, agrees with it. The reason she's so popular in part is because she's such a novelty as a player. See, I just think that even Maya Moore, the great Maya Moore and all the other great players, there's something different about Caitlin, and I personally think there's something different about the way Juju Watkins plays. I think the play makes a big difference. So I think that Caitlin there's going to be more Caitlins. That's what I think. And I think it's style of play. I think you have to be transcended, kind of like in the NBA when Jordan came along.
Right. Or Steph Curry, right? When
or
he
Steph
starts
Curry,
shooting for
or
the logo.
LeBron.
And remember Mark Jackson said this is going to ruin basketball for everybody because every kid in the gym now is going to be hoisting up threes like Steph Curry. And, he was right that everyone started to emulate Curry, whether it ruined the league or not. I don't know.
Or in 2004 when a 6'9" kid came along who could pass like magic and dunk on 6 guys. Like, to see something different basketball-wise drives the ship in my mind.
Yeah.
To some extent, there's all the other stuff too.
And I also think that, and this is what Christine was getting at, right? And you just mentioned about how Caitlin is so box office. And I think that that's what maybe fosters some of the, if there is resentment with some of the other players towards her, is like they've been playing basketball the right way, air quotes, the tough way, fundamentally sound basketball that maybe didn't have the wow factor, but was good quality hoops. And no one was getting the recognition nearly for Caitlin putting up. I'm not saying Caitlin's not fundamentally sound. I'm saying some of the improbable shots that she's launching and that green light that she would not have had at UConn, or she would not have had maybe at Notre Dame or something like that.
Yeah, big time.
That she had at
big
Iowa.
Time.
Right.
Oh, that's a huge factor. Right. This, I think, was your point. If she'd gone to UConn, a totally different narrative.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. I mean, maybe she would have broken through.
Although Muffin McGraw is in the book saying that, she wouldn't have had the green light, but she would have had better players around her and probably would have won a title if she had just come to Notre Dame. Anyway, EJ Stewart, thank you. Manny Rodriguez, thank you. Andrew Bogusch, Andrew Kaplan, you guys are awesome on the phones today as well. The Weedos, the coffee drinkers, Christine Brennan. We will see you tomorrow. We're back with Mount Olympus next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.